Alrighty then. Hello everybody. Welcome. It's Saturday again. This week has flown past for me. I mean, really, wow. What a week. It's gone extremely quick. Probably because I've just been really productive this week. So I've been constantly just moving and doing things. But also, it's not like new productivity. It's not like new schedules. There's nothing new to sort of accent the week. It's just go through with stuff. And in fact, I've got to say, I always like when I hit a landmark with the channel. When, you know, I do something new or I hit some new threshold or boundary that I haven't hit before. And I'm pretty sure this week is, in terms of hours uploaded of actual like gameplay and stuff on the channel, I'm pretty sure it is the heaviest week ever on the history of Wooden Potatoes in a 1 week period. We have had over this week 7 videos in this week, and every single one of them is near the hour mark. So about 7 hours of footage at least has gone up. So it's gone 54 minutes, an hour on the next one, another 54 minutes, 49, and that's the smallest. Then an hour and 16, 57, and then an hour and 40 all on its own. It's actually probably closer to 8 or 9 hours solid uploaded to the channel. Now, we've had streams and things that have gone in excess of that, but that's, you know, that's broaching, especially after today's video goes up as well, 10 hours of not just like slap together stream quality BS where we sit about on screens like this just waffling, like edited, concise stuff. And so I'm pretty happy with that. I honestly never in the history of the channel, not during FF102 was another series that had lots of very meaty, frequent, long videos, and many of those hit the hour mark and went beyond. But I think in terms of just sheer mass, not even that series came to it. Most of those, I tried to keep at half an hour, I think. And on X2, there wasn't like short stories and shit being edited in, which are essentially videos all on their own, but just tacked onto the other side. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. It's pretty cool. It's also, I mean, people can't keep up, so the viewership is also, if you were to look at hours uploaded, the chart is just going up and up and up. And if you watch, like, viewership, the chart is just going down and down and down. So there's something really, if I let it get to be quite depressing and upsetting about that, you know, hard work is not rewarded in terms of that. It's just too much for people to watch. But we've got to get through the series, so I'm happy to keep pushing. And there are a few of you out there who are watching it all and you're able to keep up. And to those of you, just know that I'm really happy that you're out there, basically. And, you know, I'm doing it for you. At least some people can keep up with that much gameplay. But, yeah, an hour and 41 minutes on a single instance. Not dungeon or anything, just Concordia. An hour and 40 minutes. I mean, there's stuff around it. There's Mystic Forge stuff. There's, you know, but still. It's just been crazy. And because of that, the week has flown by, you know. We hit a very cool milestone, and I intend to keep it going right through till all, as far as I'm concerned right now. I'm still getting the odd snide comment of people saying, oh, why don't you upload something else? Why don't you do something else? I don't want to watch this, but I don't sort of care anymore at the moment. I'm not trying to squeeze out an extra, you know, big shift of each day just to be able to push out, oh, they gave us a little bit of news on the World vs. World update, guys, wherein a page of information, there's basically nothing to talk about, but here it is, you know, which would easily get 20 times the views. Well, not 20 times, but I can't be bothered with it anymore, so I just want to keep going with the LP. And this, of course, it's nice to be able to sit down, go back to Guild Wars 1, chill, rant, waffle. Amazing stuff. Anyway, how is everybody doing? How's all your weeks gone? I don't like fast weeks generally, but it's alright. The other thing is, in my leisure time, I've been playing a lot more Monster Hunter now. I'm really getting to grips with that game. It's funny because it's so different to Guild Wars 2 in so many ways. It doesn't take playing much of a well-built RPG to remind me of all the things that I don't love about Guild Wars. It's like, oh, look, this is a game that isn't scared to, you know, isn't too afraid to coddle me everywhere. This is a game where I actually have to engage with gear. You know, actually have to look at the crafting trees, actually get to speak to the NPCs, get to be rewarded by the various systems. It's cool. It's cool to have a game that is like, hey, we built this content, we're going to make you play it. Check it out, you know? And not that fear of being accused of something shady at every turn. They just don't care. They're like, look, it's a cool, big, complicated game. We're going to make you play it to experience it, and it's great. So rewarding. Really, really, really like that game at the moment. I play Hammer in Monster Hunter, by the way. That's all I do, but I'm working on all my hammers at the moment. Anybody who knows what I'm talking about, I just got to the Coral Highlands. But if I look on my Steam account, I'm probably something like 15 to 20 hours of gameplay into it now. It's a cool game. What about the Deepstone video? That's a great point, Doug. That is the one video, really, production that I kind of want to get because I told people I was going to do it, and I do care about Deepstone. It was a cool new fractal, and I haven't covered it, and I want to cover it. The Deepstone is the exception. That is the one thing I often find myself looking back at and like, I should probably find the time to sort it out somehow. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see whether we can. The LPs, I don't know. It's really exciting me at the moment now as well, though. Corteria, I'm getting really into it. Minor spoilers today. I just record. You guys haven't seen it yet. Not even Patreon of people have seen it yet. But they will by the end of tonight. Everyone else has to wait at least 24 hours. But I just got done the Siska video as well. So it's really cool. One of the darkest stories in Guild Wars 2. We are responsible for slaughtering multiple innocent people, and we've got to figure out why and how, and it's an insight into the logistics of real war, and it opens the door to wider scale things, and it shows how Zaitan can manipulate, and it's one of the first great examples of mesmer magic. It's a brilliant story. I really, really, really like it. It's cool to see one of our heroes get brought down a peg. People are getting obsessive over various things in the series as well. There's certain stuff people want to see and they haven't seen yet, and I'm just being quiet about it. Me being quiet about stuff on the LP, guys, is not the same as me teasing, all right? It is not the same. I've got a lot of really cool things that are coming up in the series as well that no one's guessed at yet. No one. But some people have started to put the pieces. It's easy to suppose the way I've got it all organized now that we're like 66% of the way through. So people can start figuring stuff out now, and they will, but some of it is still... I mean, no one's... one of the really cool things I want to do is really going to surprise and shock people, I think, and it's just so out there. I don't think anyone's going to... I wouldn't expect... I mean, I'll see if a comment appears. But, yeah. Anyway, I'm being way too cryptic. Sorry, guys. Also, I'm noticing in-game here, obviously, this is a Guild Wars 1 stream. Let's just load it up. I'm noticing... Amazing. You guys are gods. Look at this, right? We're only just starting. I've not told anyone I'm live yet or anything. I already see 2 Cosses with me. I have 2 requests and multiple people walking around who are around our level. You don't just find people at Business Square Local at level 16. This is in prep for the stream. This is so cool. The Ministry of Purity guys back. Ugh. We're going to have some fun today. Also, other big news. Cool stuff. Back to the Kevin story on Twitter. This guy is sending me the skill pins. It is happening. I mean, someone's going to listen to me say that and be really bitter and jealous and annoyed. And to you, I'm sincerely sorry you're in that position in life. But I am so over the moon. I know I probably don't deserve it. I know that... there are many other people out there who really care about those pins. I'm well aware of these things. I'm well aware of the injustice of life. But all I can tell you is I'm a nerd that is very, very happy right now because I'm going to get a set of skill pins. So there will be an unboxing video on the channel at some point over the next fortnight, 2 to 3 weeks, once I get them. And in exchange, I'm going to talk a lot about... So Kevin was the Guild Wars 1 Cupcake guy. He's with the Guild Wars Legacy initiative, and I'm going to talk about that for them. They want me on one of their podcasts as kind of an exchange thing, which I'll be more than happy to do. It's going to be called Podcasting Among Mere Mortals, and I'll see how it goes. I've always been too shy doing collabs with people. And I think 99% of people think that that's rudeness or... me thinking I'm above them, but it's not. It's just introversy. So I'm happy to do that. Skill pins. I'll go on a podcast and we'll talk more about that as time goes forward. But it is going to happen, guys. It's going to be very cool. That's another video you'll see that's outside the scope of the LP, obviously. And if that video goes well, and obviously I'll have to do a lot of setup physically to get that going well. If that goes well, I can think of no better time to do the factions unbox. Well, I can think of a better time to do the factions unboxings, and that would be off when the X-Pack, if it's in this region of the world, actually comes. But yeah, that's a nice, cool little moment there as well. Also, now that I got that sorted out with the pins, I did get in contact again with the guys behind the Guild Wars tarot cards, if you guys remember the giant initiative for that, a bit like the Cupcake one, but that was ArenaNet sponsored that one, and it had, you know, an amazing number of things. And I'm gonna see if I can get something going on with that, because that would be very cool to show you all as well. Just beautiful things to have come out of the community. Guild Wars 2, I personally don't think that the Guild Wars community is that much more artistically inclined or like giving than any other fanatical game community out there. I really don't. Like Stellaris, the game director, tweeted that in the next update after Le Guin goes live, you'll be able to play as agrarian, communist, space snails, right? And he had these tweets about it. And literally within like an hour, there was like this awesome fan art of it, or someone had painted this picture of it that was up on their subreddit and stuff. I don't think that Guild Wars 2's community is that much a cut above than any others in the artistic department and stuff, though I appreciate there's a lot to be proud of. And this tarot card thing is really incredible. I really hope you guys got to see that, and that is sort of the crown jewel upon what we have built, I think, over on Guild Wars' side. So I'd love to do something with that, show people that. Yeah, it'll be good stuff. And yeah, skill pins. The reason I'm thinking of that is because Mr. Orville's fan cam in the background there, we do have a skill pin back there, of course. It's only a flesh wound, one of the Paragon elites that was pretty mediocre in the end, but there it is. Yeah, you can play as snails already in Stellaris Turtle Mods. You can already do it. You can play as space arachnids. The actual like characters you can play and races are amazing, and there's so much variety. But the problem is the game's too hollow to really represent various different governments and ethics and civics and things until this tile update comes through. Once the tile update goes through, they're removing a lot of hard limits on how they approach the game and handle things, and we should be able to see various egalitarian societies or authoritarian societies start to flourish and feel really distinct. They can add some new types of hive minds and stuff. It's going to be great. Once this goes through, they can start really building a lot of differences in. The diplomacy update is really the big moment. Once the diplomacy update comes in, which is probably still a year away as far as I've been following the game now, you might really see I start covering it in a big way. Because what a game. Anyway, we're talking about too many different things. Is WP's LP of the next Tomb Raider going to start on the 14th of next month when the release happens? I would love to do Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I really would, but I'm not sure I will. There have been other things I've been cooking, been sizzling for years now, that I kind of want to get a move on with. So you'll see, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider comes after, if and when any of it happens at all. MMO Shards. Hey, WP, what do you think of this? And you've given me a scary looking link. Is that I'm going to trust you that that's not some bugged, horrible link. Oh my god, what is this? Is this a new emote? This is a turtle potato. Looks a bit like a Ninja Turtle too. I think it looks really good, but it's way too detailed for Twitch, I think. If the sword wasn't in its mouth and the headband around the eyes was a little different. Wait, is that a potato at all? It says Tato Tell. That's very cool. If you simplify the way it looks, I will hook that up. Oh, and we get the subs. I will hook that up. Or we can sacrifice a Guild Wars 1 emote. That's so cool. Thank you so much. That's badass. I'd be well up for that. And that'll be a reward for the turtles in chat. Cooking with WP confirmed. No, I've never had any plans for a cooking show, ever. Except, what was it? There was on a stream last weekend, there was some Guild Wars food I was thinking about. Can't remember. Show us. Sorry, I don't have an easy way set up, but I can't be bothered. I'm going to go get some coffee in a second anyway. This is just the intro. Dude, that's amazing. Yeah, anyone makes emotes like that, I'll hook them up. I'll encourage any talent we have in the community. A Guild Wars 1 unwrapping. Yeah, I don't know about Guild Wars. We will see about the unboxing. We'll see about the unboxing. Living World Season 1, the more time it goes past, the more I'm thinking of just bitterly just saying, listen, it's not in the game. Pfft, deal with it. And if people get mad, I want them to be mad. Is that wrong of me? It is wrong of me. I know it is. It's manipulative of me, and it's covetous, and it's terrible, and it's not professional, but I want people to be angry at Living World Season 1 not being there. I really do. Just to fulfill my own agenda. Just blatant, biased desire to see Season 1 get added. I loathe it. And you know what? If the game is so poorly, like, bridged that we are just expected to suddenly know a new cast of characters, and we're skipped over all this vitally important stuff, like all the early hints at Ian stuff. If that's the game that ArenaNet's got, I've made as many excuses as I can for Guild Wars 2 in as many places, and that's the spirit of the LP, to show the best side of it. But if it is so bad that I have to create the gameplay myself through picking at old stuff and collaging things, if it's so bad, at some point I just kind of want to say, do you know what, I want to be better about it. I really do. I don't know, my opinion on that might swing in 24 hours, and I might be like, oh no, I can do it. I can do it. I can make a video series that is Season 1, even though Season 1's not playable. I can do it. But right now I'm a bit bitter, and I kind of just want that bitterness to come through. But you guys don't understand how damning and condemning it is. You realize that when the LP... If I go the route where I basically just say, yeah, listen, Season 1's not in the game, so we're not going to cover it. Maybe one day. If I go that route, it's going to ruin all of Season 2. And Heart of Thorns, and it will probably only be after HOT people start settling into the new status quo. It's going to ruin all of it. It's going to feel weird, that disconnect. I can tell people to deal with it, but it will be very hard to. And, you know, I'll be referencing all these Season 1 events that won't happen anymore. Because the idea would be this, guys. To not cover Season 1 and say, listen, when the devs actually add it, then I'll cover it and we'll have a cohesive series the whole way through. I can't not cover... If I want that to work, if I want to retroactively slot Season 1 in and then Season 2 gets played afterwards and Heart of Thorns and it all makes sense. If I want that to work, I have to ignore Season 1 now, and then also in my commentary for the Season 2 stuff, just act as though everyone knows. I have to assume that you've seen this potential future series that may or may not ever happen. And that assumption on the part of the viewer will be a very, very, very tough meat to chew on. Do you get what I mean? So it will ruin it in a lot of ways. But I kind of want to bitterly, you know, it's not a hysterical bitterness. It's not like a heat of the moment, oh, I'll just go with it, a flip decision. It's something I've been brewing on ever since conceiving the beginning of this series. And what you'd have to understand is it's not hysterical. It would be a long-term, just continuously punching you in the face as you watch Season 2 and Heart of Thorns. It would just be, oh, there's WP casually mentioning the time we went to the Molten facility, even though we didn't. And there's no video or evidence or thoughts of him doing that. He's just going to act. It's going to be that. All right? And really think about that. Think about the logistics of hours and hours and hours of gameplay footage that's like that. And of course I could do a middle ground, but if you go the middle ground, on the day that Season 1 comes and then I play it, it doesn't slot together properly, because then it's like there's all these weird disclaimers and backtracking and exposition given to stuff people will have seen once the series is eventually complete anyway. Does that all make sense? So it depends. Do you go for gold? Do you go for the big gamble? Do you piss everyone off in the meantime, sabotage your own viewership on the hopes that one day you have that complete thing and that complete stamp of approval? Or what? Do you compromise? There's 3 roads, basically. Anyway, I'm boring people. I can tell I'm boring people. Right. I'm going to go to get some coffee. And we are going to play some Guild Wars 1. Look at all these people here. Now, listen, guys. Here's the funny thing about Guild Wars 1 right now. We're in a 16-player mission. We are currently at a place called Visner Square. And I'll talk about the mechanics in a second once the intro starts and we'll get into the proper mode, right? But elsewhere, there's another place also called Visner Square. But it's the foreign quarter where those dirty foreigners are going to come down. God, I feel even bad saying that's a joke. Where people foreign to Cantha are going to arrive. There'll be 8 people from that outpost, 8 people from this one, and we can sync queue in, all right? 16 players. So I have got already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 8 players at the local quarter, and more than that, really. We've got 8 of you. But what I want is 8 people at the other outpost, and to take the initiative to party up together, and you guys can sync in, all right? But you're going to have to take some... There's going to have to be a leader out there, all right, who does it. Because I am not over there, and I'm not going to be able to see what's going on, and so on and so forth. What we're actually going to do is we're going to start this stream at the marketplace. I'll go there straight away. I know people are partying and stuff. Because we're going to go to Kaineng first, and we're going to do that stuff. That gives you a chance, foreigners, to get in and hang out. And we'll be ready. We will run this build for the first instance, and then we'll possibly change it up. I'm going to get rid of Rupture Soul straight away before I forget. What were we going to use instead of Rupture Soul? Oh, we were going to go Restoration and proc Flesh of My Flesh down there at the end to be a bit more of a team player so we can res people. Okay, so that's what's going to go on there. And, yeah, you guys can feel free to come along on the adventure to Kaineng. I'll see you all in just a moment. Go get your coffee. Alright, hello everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the Cantha playthrough. We're ready to keep continuing today. We're in the Kaineng Center, the city. I think I saw a Jules in chat there saying, hey, can we do a recap of the story? That's perfectly fair. Let me just catch up with chat here, and we can do that. We can do a little recap of exactly where we are. So, let's see what's going on here. Apparently, even way back before the intro to this stream, we already had a party of people at the foreign quarter, which is amazing already. So, if we continue to get even more and more, we might have multiple teams competing to queue in and queue snipe it. It will be brilliant. The foreign side is apparently full. That's amazing. Is there any way to get the old launcher back in the game? Yes, you can do something called Guild Wars 2 Launch Buddy, but it's just like an emulation, and I wish I actually had a bit more quality of life put onto it, and dev, but who am I to demand that kind of stuff? It's cool, and you can definitely work ways of it out via videos that get imprinted on your desktop and stuff. Check it out. Guild Wars 2 Launch Buddy does a lot of other useful things as well. Helps you log in when there's server issues. Gives you easy access to various command line arguments. Open access to multi-boxing, which is perfectly valid and viable. All those little things, which is very, very handy. You can have different options presets as well. One of the things I'm meaning to do on the LP is I constantly move my options around. Like, sometimes I need small UI to capture ambient dialogue. Sometimes I need dialogue volume off and effects volume off. Sometimes I need to enable first-person camera and then disable it again. You know, I'm constantly swapping through. With Guild Wars 2 Launch Buddy, you can set up 2 different ways of launching the game that completely change all your options and key bindings based on which one you click. And that kind of stuff can be really useful. It can mean if you have one PC and your wife doesn't play Guild Wars, but she wants to, it's just she doesn't know how to use your Razer Naga, or she doesn't like your foot pedal, or you don't like her Razer Naga or her foot pedal, you can swap it around so that you both have completely different bindings based on when you log in, you know. And you can do little things like that. It just makes things easy. Yeah, a lot of you guys saying link to the 3-hour video. I will do that, yeah. No matter which tactic I go with, to be honest, I'll probably say, hey, here's a 3-hour video. And it's not too much to ask my viewers at that point in the series to watch a 3-hour video. I mean, Christ. They will have been watching 70, 80 hours of gameplay up to that point. So 3 for Season 1's not actually asking that much. And yes, I did collaborate with that, and you know, so it's got my mark on it a little bit. In fact, I think my voice is the first one that appears on the video. So it works. The 3-hour video will be thing I'll probably do irregardless. Why am I scared of saying that word? Is that not a word? Anyway, yeah, but that's not the full solution to me, I don't think. But right, what else we got? Scrolling down. Factions is reasonably short. Are you doing both the Kurzak and Luxian arcs? No, but if people are still watching and enjoying, we will go to Winds of Change, which will really lengthen it out. No, you're only halfway through the new episode of the LP. Bad timing. Sorry, Red. Sorry, dudes. Oh, let me get my overlays up as well. Am I playing this with a steering wheel and DDR map? What? Factions? No, not at all. That's a cool idea, though. Yeah, we'll do a challenge run. We'll do the DDR challenge run, okay? I'll just film my feet for you all. Irregardless is technically not needed. The ear in front of regardless is not needed. Yeah, okay. Regardless covers it. Irregardless is regardless. Regardable. Irregardlessable. When we sync, you can message me to whisper so we sync without stream lag. Okay, Serial Experiments. I see your whisper in-game. That's perfect. Great idea. Amazing initiative. You're a god. A leader of men. You can do great things. Most people don't get anywhere just because they don't have a little bit of initiative. You, my friend, have got it. Live long and prosper. What am I got on about here? The perfect solution for them to add it so I can play it for the first time. Now I'm through. Yeah, I mean, well, you guys are going to love it when my LP finishes right as the surprise announcement of the Season 1 return. It's going to be amazing. It's been a big collaboration in the background between me and the devs, and I'm not gonna lie, that's like my dream. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine if the second we finish the LP, Season 1 comes back? I'd be like, yes! I'd play it so hard, and everyone would want to watch it because it would be newly added. Can you imagine how good that would be? Ugh, the ultimate. If I could have, what's that thing where people like make any of your wishes come true. I think that's for terminal children, isn't it? Make a wish. If I could have the Make a Wish Foundation do something for me, it'd be that. Not to drag the mood down. It's good to see you, Valen. I'm about halfway through your video on Final Fantasy. It's an interesting conversational piece, and I think you're hitting on a lot of things I haven't really thought about. I really like your discussions about like marrying theater with video games and so on. But the one thing that I'm struggling, well, I'm not struggling with, the one thing I find interesting about your format is your segue from one topic into the next, and like what the main thrust of the video is quite murky to me at the moment. So I'm just kind of treating it as just, hey, let's just talk about various topics to do with game narrative and stuff. And it's been a really interesting production. But yeah, I'm about half an hour through, and it's 44 minutes long. God, how do people watch 40-minute long videos? That's way too long. What the hell? I'd never ask that of my audience. You'd be like, oh, FFS Scarlet? Please, please, Taz Annie, never. If they announce Season 1, I'm going to personally downvote every single person I see on Reddit who whines that Scarlet sucks, all right? I don't care that Scarlet sucks. Give us we need the full story, all right? It's irrelevant. Do not defeat this cause. Do not claim we don't need Season 1 just because Scarlet sucks. Get out of here. I will personally spit in every 10th burger. You can only watch videos that are 10 minutes wrong. I don't think they really could have brought Season 1 back until now, really. They only just found a proper release cadence. Wow, did they? Corner seem to have struggled a little bit. Right, here we go. Let's play factions. So, recap of the faction story. We went to the monastery to learn to be a badass. Our background, I suppose, could have been up to... Before the monastery is up to us. Were we a denizen of Xingje? Were we from the city? Were we a Luxon or a Kurzik? The game gives us students joining of various ages and backgrounds all at the same time to allow us to imagine whatever one we want. I actually think that's one of the subtle, kind of clever things that the devs did about Xingje and the origins of your character in this game. It's not a formal biography choice, as they ended up doing with various things in Guild Wars 2. We just can let our imagination fill in. So what do we believe, guys? I like to think that maybe we're from the mountains to the south, just because... Oh, no, let's say we're from this area of the city, of which we have absolutely no information or lore about whatsoever. We have a little bit of the mountains because one of the bonus mission packs things takes place there. Let's say we're from the city down here. Let's say we're from this island, maybe. We go to Xingje. There's a strong culture of admiring the warriors from there. But perhaps one particular one of recent history has brought shame to our people. So we've gone there. There we go. We joined Xingje. We found this bastard other ritualist, Yijo Tan, who we really didn't like. He was a teacher's pet. But we looked up to Master Togo, who is of our specific discipline and craft, a ritualist himself. We accelerated through the monastery, we graduate, we get our insignia, we go on a special meeting to the Minister Cho, a dignitary of some regard and renown on the island. But, oh dear, his menagerie of exotic animals from far and flung different territories have started to go mad. The people at the actual place have started to go mad. And Minister Cho himself has been corrupted in some terrible beast, some horrible creature. What is going on? It appears that plague has struck the island. We go to consult with some monks at the Jaya Bluff, and they have befallen the same fate. We realize that the plague seems to have originated at a temple in the ancient valley of Zendaijan. We get the assistance and allegiance of the friendly spirit nearby, a Kirin known as Zunra. And we cleanse the valley only to find that Yijo-tan, in his hubris, has marched on ahead of us and befallen to the plague himself. We somewhat sadly cut him down and realized that our jealousy and bitterness was all but naught, and we feel kind of bad about ourselves. Feeling even worse, though, is Master Togo, who accepted Yijo and now has a duty to inform the mother of this poor man that her child is dead. We also want to figure out what's going on with the plague in the mainland, where the city has caused it to accelerate, you know, the horrible impoverished conditions to a scary degree. We come to the mainland. We tell Yijo's mum, and she's like, yeah, cool, now please leave. Leave me in my grief. We tried to help people out. We realized that there's all kinds of issues with bureaucracy, and the ministry are slow-moving and uncaring, and there's a lot of corruption and just disgusting stuff going on here. There are gangs. Some of them are akin to the mafia with lots of money, and they're organized and scary, and they waltz free on the streets. Then there are also thugs and petty, nasty people who shank you in the dark alleys, the Amphar. So there's turf wars here. There are various guilds of different renown. We have heard and interacted a little with one called the Obsidian Flame, who will become more relevant as time goes forwards. But the key thing is we have found out where apparently the plague originated in the city, but still that big question is on our minds. What is causing the plague and where and why? And the plot is very simple at this point. It's expanded in various directions, but the main through line, lots of clarity there. So, there's a quarantined zone deep in the city, and we're going to go check that out. I love the idea of a quarantine zone juxtaposed with a setting like Tyria. I don't know, I've always enjoyed that. I've enjoyed this entire city, where kind of a recreation of Kowloon, the walled city, in a world with dwarves and whatnot, as Guild Wars 1's setting very much was. Yeah, we're doing all of that, but just before we go to check that out, we also heard that many foreign heroes from across the north have arrived, including Brother Menlo, who once trained at this monastery, and his new friends Sin, Devonna, and so on. We haven't met them just yet. Before all of that, I want to go to the capital of the capital to buy some skills, potentially new armor, get our services available, more quests. I think there should be a secondary quest that leads us there from somewhere. Look at this guy sneaking here, Shiro Tagachi himself, hiding behind that crate. Oh, I think he just wanted to be an Easter egg in the background, and I drew way too much attention to it there. So yeah, I don't think there are any quests that I remember though. So maybe we'll just wander on out. We're also all costs, basically. Or will be as time goes forward. Okay, let's accept some more party members, shall we? Starting with the lowest level. Kinru Sa, Asia T, Igni Westlog, Bacon and Potato, Olori Ogun, and the last one, Smitsky. You're always losing out because you're level 18, man. Satirical Snowman. It's going to have to be him, I'm afraid. Smitsky. I feel so bad because he was here so early on the stream and put one of the first party requests in. Dude, rest in peace. Look, there's another 6-man party here and a 4-man one. What's going on here? Oh, yeah, and we got a load of Elonian mirrors, by the way. So, in Cantha, they have a ton of hints to the next campaign because they were kind of released in, developed in tandem a little bit. So, Cantha has various hints as to the next setting, which is Nightfall, which was what we played on stream a while back. Oh, it's a mini pig. That's very cool. Isn't that worth a ton of money? I'm not sure anymore. Isn't it? Isn't that worth a ton of money? What's a price check on a mini pig? I'm actually going to accept that. Is he serious about this? That's either worth a ton or nothing these days. Maybe it's the Celestial Pig? I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah, we geeked out about in-game trading the other day. Okay, apparently no, it's cheap. All right. But still, yeah, that's a Canthan pet for the Year of the Pig. We have to sort our inventory and all sorts out. Let's go to the main city first. Up through Buck Deck Byway. 50 arm races right there. Oh, well, now I don't know who to believe. I'm pretty sure one of those, though. The pig was the first year, and it was rare. I recall there was the Celestial Pig, then if you already had, you could get ready. Yeah, basically, they let everyone tier their pigs up or something. And then in subsequent years, there was no way to get the original one. So people who still... And it was a really weird, bizarre... sequence of events to leave you with this item, but if you had it, it was quite rare in the end, and then it was able to be donated in the Hall of Monuments. So I think there was a rare one. Yeah, oh, and we saw a flashback to a great assassin of old, a man named Shiro Tagachi, who was being told by some fortune teller he was going to find great fortune. Wait, what was she saying exactly? I don't recall anymore. Oh, the voice of Grenth. Awesome. So we're going to pick up Richness of Grenth. For 20 minutes, all our attributes are raised. That's going to cost us 150G, but the community gave us a dick ton of plat, so we're perfectly happy with that. Now, in theory, on the way up to the city, we don't actually have to fight anything, so the game's kind of forgiving for low-level players, at least here. Hear me, fellow Canthans. We have been defying the will of nature, and now nature strikes back. The plague has spread through our lands like a wildfire, like the wildfire. This plague will purify us. Only the strongest of us will survive to see the final cataclysm. The guards try to keep order, but there is fewer of them each day. I'm sure there are. You can imagine if that was voice acted, that would have been like broken, like how Oblivion was broken. Oblivion being a game that released the same year as this. Can I just point that out on the Elder Scrolls end? Kind of interesting to compare and contrast. They're both 06 releases, I think. Unless I'm horrendously mistaken and Oblivion was actually 04. Can't remember anymore, actually. Alright, let's proc Doom. Bacon Potato immediately dead. We'll Splinter Weapon this. That's a big mower, is it? Wait, who's got a big mower? I got a big mower for you. So here's Akio. No, Oblivion was 06. There you go, good. Alright, I'm not a complete moron. It's interesting looking at stuff like that when the genres are very different, but just like the march of progress for video games as far as separate genres lined up, you know, and how they could struggle in the same ways. I mean, these are both RPGs and both fantasy settings that I'm comparing there. But hey. So this is someone else's quest, I think, with that Jade Brotherhood Guild cape. This little girl is kind of like the new Gwen. Help! I was playing out in the street when these men grabbed me. They told me if I screamed or struggled, they would hurt me. Please, take me back to my father, Tao Zhou. I'll take you home, little one. That sounds kind of nasty. Pretty grim. Let's keep going. So somebody summoned a snowman here with a summoning stone. At least GW1 didn't try to sell you $5 horse armor. That is like a beautiful little story, man. If I did video essays and stuff, in general, even in Guild Wars, I haven't done any for a while, but like on stuff beyond that, I'd love to do one on just what a flashpoint for gaming in general. The horse armor thing, what a beautiful, beautiful little microcosm of the years to come, the decade to come and beyond. 15 years plus now of where, you know, what a precursor to video games. Beautiful little thing to look back at. I'm sure that's such a fucking... what's the word I'm looking for? I'm looking for a word that means normie, but I don't want to say normie out loud because I kind of hate that term. But that's like, you know, yeah, I'm an intellectual nerd on the internet. Everybody wants to talk about that, so that's what I'm trying to avoid. That's what I'm trying to express there. Vanquish 3 or 4 maps since I started these streams. You just started on another one. Dude, nice. That's a lot of Vanquish in progress. Very cool. So here's a scary looking hole, and down there we can imagine the pits of the town. Right now, these are safe, but as we continue primary quests, we'll actually start getting attacked from those. Yeah, there you go. Benji with the Tato nerd emote. Oh. Drinkmaster Tanu. So, look, you're the ones the barkeep hired to beat me, eh? I'll give you the thrashing of a lifetime. All right, boy, you. He's down. I'm drunk enough to know when I've been beaten. Well, Fort, this tavern is yours to do what you want with. What would you want with it? Excuse me, I have to stumble off to the Warno. Oh, the pain. I'll need half a dozen mugs of good old Canthan ales. Help me forget such a beating. You drunkards, look at this. Look at the kind of lives these people are living. Not good. This drink master for instant vanquish of map and selling it to people doing Z quests. Oh! You're right. The map's empty right now, isn't it? Oh, yeah. I'd forgotten almost completely about that. Basically, one of these quests, guys, disables all mobs on the map, and it's this one. So what you can do is proc him, kill him, and he's the only foe on the whole map, so you can vanquish the Buck Deck Byway in a single kill. And that's a huge time saver. That's like 3 hours of gameplay, or 2 seconds. And players would sell the quest. Oh. Yeah, you got to do some combination of quests. Dude, you just gave me some serious nostalgia trip in there. That's crazy. Someone in our team, one of these 8 players has got that set up. You found my daughter. Thank the gods be praised. I was so engrossed in my work, I did not realize she was in trouble until it was too late. I was frantic, but no one dared admit they saw anything for fear of retribution. You have made me a father happy again. I do not know how I can ever repay you, but I hope this will do. Alright, we get a sweet-ass Imperial Commendation. That's essentially the new variant of the Xingji ones. We can proc this Scroll of Hero Insight when we get into the campaign in a mission in a minute as well, because there's tons of mobs in there, so we'll get a lot of value out of the double XP, and we will level rapidly. Does this guy have a follow-up to take revenge, Kill Bill style? I guess not. Something about being allied with the Ampha. Well, yeah, there is a quest that makes you allied with the Ampha. That's how you get that awesome plague effect as well, which I kept for years. Here, there's a bit of a timeline incongruence. This is Eye of the North, so let's pretend that's not there. That is, by the way, hints of Asura activity below the depths here. Well, and if we get a Canthan expansion, I really hope the devs touch on the dredge tunnels below this continent, which is just such a crazy cool fantasy idea, and I just want them to go balls deep with and actually try and treat it as a logistical serious thing. The story being that the dredge dug tunnels under the oceans by hand and got to the Echo Valley Forest. Seriously. I can't wait to see Guild Wars 2 retread that territory. That would be so exciting. And again, give us a Super Adventure Box style raft sequence where we're a minecart when we get to go through the tunnel. Come on, that'd be so cool. And then also, that's right, I can't talk about that without talking about the SAB raft, guys. And then the other thing, Asura that we're under here as well. Eye of the North somewhat probes at it, so why not? Let's see how far they can push it. Anyway, here you go. Kaineng Center. Hey, Cytech789. Yeah, just to be clear, I haven't looked at any things. Dark donated today. Thank you, dude. Thanks for the 100-minute Let's Play episode, Tome of the Rubicon hype. I'm glad you enjoyed that. The Tome of the Rubicon as well, by the way, guys. I was quite excited to get in and show off because I remember we did a stream, the No Skills Challenge. I think it was during that, or maybe one of the previous ones, where someone in chat was saying, hey, WP, be careful, because that's not actually the Tome of the Rubicon. You've been talking about it as though it's the Tome of the Rubicon, and it's not. And on that stream, I was like, wait, what? What do you mean? And I got a little bit worried about that because I wasn't sure if I was going to deceive people or just get the facts wrong in the LP. So I was remembering that stream vaguely as I was making this episode, and I paid very close attention to what is actually delivered about the Tome of the Rubicon in the game, and I hope I did justice. Whoever that was, if you're still watching the streams, I hope I did justice to it in the end by your estimation. I'm pretty sure I laid the facts out as clearly as possible, and people can decide for themselves whether that was the Tome of the Rubicon or not, and sort of get the full picture. So here we go, anyway. Guardsman Ping, where are you? What do you need, citizen? Nothing. Again, look, they're so oblivion. This area of Cantha's sprawling northern metropolis is also sometimes called Old Kaineng, and is usually among the first stops for visitors to the Empire of the Dragon. Before the Jade, and this is obviously what Guild Wars 2 has to focus on, its roots as Empire of the Dragon, which Guild Wars 1 doesn't touch on much. Before the Jade Wind, the place now called Kaineng Center actually comprised most of the whole city. But the ensuing population explosion as citizens fled the affected regions led to an equal expansion of metropolitan boundaries. The Central District's new official moniker was approved by imperial decree in the year 1408 of the Canthan calendar. Now, I'll be the first to admit, I'm not very good at off-the-cuff translating CC into the Mavellian calendar. Maybe someone in the stream can do that. I don't know how many years ago this was, basically, from right now. But yeah, great. Makes sense. Big explosion of petrification everywhere. People flee to the limited areas they have left. Very cool. Maybe it's supposed to be like an analog, a subtle reference to sort of the way things are in Japan, where it's like live on the coast or get screwed. So everybody lives together. I know that the Canthan region isn't strictly Japan. It's sort of an amalgamation of lots of different, and hybrid of lots of different East Asian aesthetics, and that's what supposedly people take issue with over on NCSoft side. But yeah, there's so many beautiful things to show here, guys. Again, this series is not going to be truly comprehensive. There's a cool sign of how the agents of Jinlai work, and you can find their magic golden chest. There's all these dockland areas that otherwise you wouldn't really go to. I mean, it's truly an extraordinarily large map. It's cool. What I'm going to do is look for the skill trader, look for a merchant, and look for new armor, because we can now get level 60 max level. So, in fact, here's armor straight away. I'm not sure how many people there are, and then we can even start getting 15k armor. Which would cost about 100 platinum each time. So I don't know how people will feel about that. But right, we're going to need cloth. And we're going to need leather squares. Let me just quickly pull up a notepad here. No, a calculator. And tot these in. So we're going to want 25 plus 75 plus 25 plus 50 plus 25. Oh my god, I messed that up. Oh, I messed that up. 25, 75, 25, 50, 25. There we go. Okay, it's 200. I could have done that just on my head way quicker. So it's going to be 200 cloth. And then for the leather squares, we're going to want 4. Listen, guys, I'm just trying to practice getting used to muscle memory for numpad because I've never really used it enough. Plus 4, plus 8, plus 4 is 32. All right, so we're going to need 200 plus 32. People will correct me in chat if I'm wrong about that. That's just for one head wrap, but I'm happy with that. All the rest we can sell and get rid of. And we'll come back to this in a second. There's also weapons we can start picking up too and crafting. But someone already supplied us with a pretty nice one. So I'll stick with a communing rod for now. Side quests, do we care about many? This is weirdly delivered. Like we already know what the assassination plot is. I won't worry too much about that. Alright, there you go. Apparently 200 plus 32 is correct. If ArenaNet developed a new game, would it belong to NCSoft like Guild Wars 2? I don't know how that works. I don't claim to know. I'd love to know. Maybe someone in chat can tell me. What does it mean, ArenaNet as a subsidiary of NCSoft? Does NCSoft get its fingers in every IP ArenaNet ever do? Are NCSoft funding all of them? Can a game company have autonomy over new IPs despite having their bread and butter published by... I don't know how that works. I would assume that it's kind of a very simplistic relationship where NCSoft gets everything. But I don't know. Greetings, Bookpoop, but I have an important message. Cormier, Spear Marshal of the illustrious Sun Spears, has travelled here from the lands of Alona. She's been asking about your and other famous heroes from the era. She's waiting at the Benjamin Pier to speak to you as soon as you are available. I will find Cormier and speak to her. Now, this is not going to be a Nightfall stream, obviously, but I am going to do this because we want a special skill from the Sun Spears. I don't know whether that will be this stream, but we will go to Alona and the Sun Spears Great Hall just because they can teach us a fighting technique I'd really like. It's a special binding ritual that would be of utmost use to us. So, yeah. This guy is a baker with the baker tag. I never learned to hold a sword, just how to sift and fold. Though I have a warrior... for some reason, this here makes me think of RuneScape and the mills. Though I have a warrior's heart, my baking isn't much use in the battlefield, I'm afraid. Still, bring me proof that you're helping the cause, and I'll reward you with a mighty treat. Ministreat of Purity. That's basic. And you'll notice this is for a ministerial commendation. That's Winds of Change way later. Again, more timeline. Lots of timeline breaking stuff. That Ilona quest... The fit is out of timeline. The chasm is out of timeline, and so is the Ministry of Purity there. Jinlai Agent Honolo. We of the Jinlai Guild are famous for our storage vaults throughout Kantha and beyond. Our agents provide safekeeping for your rare and precious goods without fail. Alas, a group of those thieving Amphar is made off with mine, robbing me of my very livelihood. I'm far too weak from the scuffle to pursue the things myself. Will you recover it for me? Yeah, I'll find and return your storage vault. So we can do that. Or, you know, accept it and see whether we get it in the end. Here we get the... these are 2 important quests as well. I've heard of your assistance to the Empire, McPoopbutt, and I had hoped you would come see me. You see, the Emperor has charged me with finding a cure for the plague, and I do not plan in disappointing him. Yeah, good luck with that, mate. There are rumours that members of a local guild known as the Amphar have exhibited an unusual resistance to the plague, and it is my belief that they have developed some sort of cure. This is where you come in. I need someone to infiltrate the Amphar's ranks and learn the source of their immunity. Since you are an outsider, you may be the only one who can do this without raising suspicions. In Kaining Center, you'll find a man named Buyo, a known Amphar associate. Speak with him and learn what you can. That's a very cool quest chain there. And that's what we were talking about before. You, like, inflict yourself with plague and get a permanent debuff on you that lasts either in cities, and you can sort of use it for a bit of fashion wars. It's cool. One of my... precious streets. There's a giant hole in the middle of it. Another, here you go. That's Eye of the North, so we don't have to read that. Imperial Guardsman Kinter. I am Kinter of the Imperial Guard, and you are McPoopbutt, I presume. I have heard of you and your companions. The Emperor has need of those who are loyal to Cantha. If you're looking for work, I may have a few tasks you could assist with. Okay. Anything for more experience. Those who swear service to the Imperial Guard give up all else in life to serve the Emperor faithfully. One of our own sworn brothers, Chun, is lost to the plague. It, was last seen on the streets, feasting on the living. I am certain he would not want to live this way, that he would want us to destroy the monster he has become. Will you find the afflicted creature that Chun has become and destroy it? Alright, I'll honor him and destroy him. What else we got? Feed the hungry. As the plague worsens, the poor are being hit the hardest. Food prices have climbed uncontrollably as farmers and merchants have slowed shipments to Kaineng City for fear of infection. Charitable fund. This is interesting here, that they get a lot of their foods via boats, which I guess kind of makes sense. There's not much space for agriculture in these areas, but you'd presume a lot here. It doesn't mean Tyria because the trade routes, I mean, to an extent it must, but the trade routes haven't been open for that long. But I guess there is the possibility that some of these other trade routes you see on the Guild Wars 2 maps are also live. Because there's not really much open land in Cantha. I don't know. I guess it depends on your interpretation of the map art and how much of a breadbasket this island is. Xingji, which of course we do hear it's supposed to be, with its rice paddies, water buffalo, whatnot. Charitable funds have dried up as people worry only for themselves. The Emperor is concerned for his people, especially the poor and elderly. See, look, he's benevolent and has mandated that his personal cooks prepare for food for them. It is a gracious gesture by our Emperor, but the Imperial Guard has no men to spare to protect the cooks while they distribute soup to the needy. If you are loyal to the Emperor, go to Buckdeck Byway and help protect the Imperial Chef Yul Yang. Alright, I will protect the cook on this noble quest. Someone's sick of waiting. Okay. So feed the hungry. Now, Raisu Palace, I don't believe we can enter the palace. You see this beautiful exotic gilded area here? The game actually ends here. Right up here, you see that bridge? To get to that bridge is to beat the game. So we will be back here by the end of this series. But in terms of entering the palace beyond the pavilion, I don't think we're allowed to yet. Let's see. There might be a quest or two. We might be able to meet Togo out here. Let's see. Sorry, I just pulled everyone through here. I hope they weren't crafting or whatever. The Emperor is a kind and just man. I serve the Empire, doing that which the Emperor cannot, in order to maintain and balance justice. The Amphar has kidnapped a guardsman and taken him to the Waijin Bazaar. We cannot allow such a crime to go unpunished. An assault on one of the Emperor's guardsmen is an assault on the Emperor himself. You know, I'm being reminded of something. I will criticize dynamic events in a lot of ways, but I'll praise them sincerely in that they avoided one big thing that all MMOs except Guild Wars 2 struggles with. It's not that the quest text is boring. It's not that people are lazy. It's not that they don't know how to read. It's none of that. It's that MMOs like this, CORPGs, whatever you want to call them, with quest hubs, they condition you to just click through accept, 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 accept. It's mentally fatiguing to hold the circumstance of every single quest and the contrivance associated with them in your head when you've just been bulk dumped loads of them onto you. And there are ways for traditional questing systems to avoid that. But dynamic events are amazing in that they very beautifully, in their immediacy, by their very nature, a dynamic event will never have that struggle. So by their nature, dynamic events, in theory, could get you more invested in their stories. But ArenaNet fell down ever so slightly in how heavily dynamic events are automated on an individual basis. Only one guy gets to speak to the NPC and proc it. You just walk in and do an escort or a defense or an attack. And you don't get the story. So dynamic events do have a great perk that unfortunately ArenaNet never fully realized, and to this day they never fully realized. I guess to an extent it makes sense they rely on some meta events because they together can come together to build a broader story. But it's interesting how they take a big step forwards by avoiding what Guild Wars 1's doing here, and then a massive step back at the same time to sort of hit a net zero. Anyway, he's as good as found. I think ArenaNet were getting there with the right solution, but dynamic events just quite weren't triggered just right. And no one could have known that. ArenaNet were looking for this feedback. What I'm saying right now, they were looking for this feedback in 2010. If you look back at them in the convention demos when they were first revealing dynamic events and how much they were all over the game to the world, that was the main thing they were concerned about. That's what they all wanted to hear things about. And people just said, yeah, it's good. Yeah, all right, cool, I like it. It's fun. And to really get the nitty-gritty of this, we couldn't have known. We just couldn't have. And some of these realizations still come upon me 8 years later. Not 8 years. What the hell? 6 years later. I'm thinking from the start of when I started the channel. Or almost. Anyway. Does anyone else mana potions suck? Naga oil. It seems to me that there are those trying to take advantage of these fearful times by selling all manners of remedies and potions claiming to cure the plague. The Emperor has taken a personal interest in this matter. He believes it is a crime that honest people are running hither and thither, collecting odd items to exchange for fraudulent remedies that cannot help them. I would like you to pose as a refugee and obtain one of these remedies, then bring it back here that I might examine it. Anything for the Emperor. Look, we're good little boys and girls. And so here you can see an entrance. Everyone having waited very patiently. McPoopbutt is not allowed into Raisu Palace. Only those of royal blood or who have permission from the Emperor may enter. Anything else you wanted to know? All right, Jesus. I may have royal blood. I know it sounds like I have poop blood, but it may be royal. That black mower looking fine. What a posture. Everybody sit up straight and work on your postures, okay? If you're like me, you're a nerd, you sit on the PC way too much, your posture's not good. Sit up, all right? Good. I'll give you another reminder about... That's what I need. Not a hydration bot. I need a posture bot. That would be amazing. Yeah, Valen, I agree. The immediacy of dynamic events punishes them in other ways, just in terms of telling broader stories. Guild Wars 1 can deliver a small scope, singular secondary objective in a secondary quest that nonetheless has far-reaching implications. And, you know, we can talk and deliver something far away. Dynamic events are limited in that. You can't really have a dynamic event that takes you from the Dwayna statue in Divinity's Reach to Fort Salma. You can't do that. Even if it's a small, very simple idea that you're trying to get across, even if story-wise it's not a big thing, you just mechanically can't do it. Secondary quests can easily fulfill that. Dynamic events can't. Not just for the fact that Guild Wars 2 broke its world up into these instances and there's loading screen boundaries and there's logistics of that for dynamic events, which is a very real thing. But in terms of the logistics of having an event and an escort that fires frequently enough to go through all of that territory, but there's not duplicates of it going on at the same time. It's a very tricky thing that would involve a lot of phasing and all kinds of crazy stuff to really make work. I'm not sure what the middle ground looks like. What I'm dismayed by is that MMO developers and the whole scene is shriveling and repackaging and rebranding itself rather than looking at what ArenaNet did and saying, what's the next logical step? No one really did that. No one's got the balls that ArenaNet had. And why? Because you get punished for having those balls. See Live in World Season 1. So I don't know. All right. Wait. Before I leave, we wanted to find the skill trader and the merchants as well. So there's scroll traders. There's rune traders. We could start runing. Probably. I want to get into the quest, so we won't spend too long. Let's go get some materials here. There's a dye trader there as well. Guild stuff as well. Here you go, Spud Club. We did get an invite. Sweet, look at that. Oh, did you just hear that? Oh, I wish I wasn't talking there. Oh my god, that's a nostalgia bomb. That sound effect, that horn for joining a guild in Guild Wars 1. Woof. I may have only heard that a couple of times in my entire life. Jesus, that is very like 2003 video gaming right there. It's the same as like this icon above people's heads. It's so old school and weird. What does the guardsman say he's to do with what? Oh, here you go. I'm glad you're here at last, McPoop, but Menlo has been looking here for you. He received a letter from his homeland that left him greatly disturbed. He's probably waiting for you right now at the Benjamin Pier. You should speak with him immediately. I believe this takes us to the foreign quarter if we want to, and we could do a little bit of extra stuff to get to know them. But again, this series isn't aiming to be super comprehensive, so we won't worry. Yeah, if you guys want to be in the official Guild Wars 1 Spud branch, you're more than welcome to. B. Looks like we've already got a few. I've done nothing towards this. Is Raising Shrubs one of our GMs, or is it just another fanatical member of the community? That's awesome. Are the GMs the officers? We have ranks and everything already. Okay. Rare material trader. Leather squares it was, wasn't it? Oh, God. I hope it's leather squares. We've got to do this 32 times. That's a bit of... or was it tanned hide? I don't remember. Yeah, maybe someone could say in chat. Which one was it, guys? Am I just needlessly buying mats here? It's nice to see that lots of these are still traded items. Like, look at that. Obsi shards. Obsi shards. Catching up to globs. That's amazing. Oh, it's Hawk Test. Okay. I had a dream that ArenaNet put multi-map escort and meta in Guild Wars 2 had zoning problems. Even your dream. I mean, yeah, it doesn't take a genius to see all the ways that they were limited. Look at Straits of Devastation, into Cursed Shore, into Malkor's Leap. Look at that. Think about how the through lines and things work there and how ore could have been implemented if things had been done very differently. Is black dye still not available at the dye vendors? I'm not sure. Nobody knows the answer in stream chat, so I'm guessing we weren't paying any more attention than I was, which is fair and fine. I'll check the dye trader here. Look. I know at least we need more cloth, so I'll pick that up. We need 200. We got 67 already. And in fact, let's do another salvage operation here. So I'm going to press F9 to get the full inventory up. We only have one expert kit left. I keep salvaging things with sale value. Yeah, black is still not available. That's awesome. I wonder, you could probably buy it from people. That makes me so happy that you're forced to play a trade for black dye right now. There's just no one left playing this game is silly enough to use these vendors. Oh, I say silly, but you get what I mean. What did I want here? I want just a regular vendor here to buy a kit to salvage down. Yeah, white is at the vendor there at least. Pre-searing hoarders will rule. I mean, guys, you'll be blown away. So here, now that we're in the mainland, there's the expert kit. I'm going to buy the superior one. It costs 2 plat, but it has 100 uses, and this should get us through the vast majority of the series. So we're going to get rid of the katana. Oh, well, let's ID it first, I suppose. 11% while hexed. Oh, look, we got... Oh, no, that's just our headpiece, isn't it? I don't remember buying that, but fine. We'll ID that. We'll ID the half moon. Okay. So salvage. Salvage. The Amphar cape down as well. We'll keep our old head wrap just in case. I mean, I'm in no particular rush. IDing before salvaging I don't think is worth it, so I'm not sure why I really did that. But here, we see this collection of mats up here. They'll just keep building up, so our inventory will be safe. And then what I'll do here as well is runes of holding. So I'm going to buy 2 of these. And what you can do with these runes, they're very special. Most runes are for armor. But what you can do is double-click a rune of holding and apply it to a bag and double the bag's inventory. You can only do it once, though. They don't stack or whatever. And you can't do it to a belt pouch, which leaves our last bit of gear, an equipment pouch. And we can buy one here for 2 platinum, 500 gold. Those can be expanded as well. I don't remember the mechanics of expanding equipment pouches. I really don't. But you can get that up to 4 rows, can't you? Interesting. I can't really remember anymore right now. But that's fine. So now when we press F9, you see the equipment pouch doesn't appear here because it's just for our gear and we're not really too relevant. It's not really too relevant for anything else. So put our minis here at the bottom. These are our rare mats. We'll probably do some of those. We can sell the augmented flesh. So coming over here. Get rid of that. That could have gone to a collector as well for what it's worth. More of these up top. I will sell the rare mats now, actually. Let's see. Sorry this is taking a bit longer, guys, than I was expecting. But hey, the whole game isn't just wandering through, ripping things apart. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Rare materials here. They're kind of weirdly set out. Equipment boxes with Z coins. Ah, were they now? Okay, so sell the monstrous fang. The monstrous eye. These leather squares that we bought a second ago. I'm not sure. Was it tanned leather? Is this considered good inventory space? Yeah, this is very good inventory space. This is sorted, man. You gotta understand, Guild Wars 2 is in an arms race with itself. Because of some fundamental issues with how to reward players, over the years, the devs have been like, well, we have to give them more. Which has meant more items, more bags, bags within bags, more, which has meant an arms race on inventory slots. Your actual feeling of enjoyment hasn't gone up just because there's more slots and more slots required and more items, individual art coming through your inventory. Guild Wars 1 never got into that arms race with itself because it functioned very differently in terms of loot drops and tagging and whatnot. So it's quite limited storage, but the loot is something you interact with more precisely and individualistic basis, and it works. You know, don't assume that Guild Wars 2 is better just because it has more storage space. Guild Wars 1 has less need of more storage space at the same time too. And if anything, I prefer this. I prefer a smaller amount. I prefer the conservative approach. All right, 105, 10. That's not to say Guild Wars 1's better in every way. People are perfectly welcome to enjoy 320 slot inventory sacks that fill up over a day's Istan farming, you know. All right, so that's 200. It was not tanned. It was just regular leather. Okay. All right, that makes sense. And I was leaning on that as well because, let's be honest. Oh, yeah, Rolls of Vellum. They've not come back in Guild Wars 2 yet. I'm sure we'll get Rolls of Parchment in the sequel too, if an expansion comes here. Because it's only 30, right? So, what? I don't have to request 3 quotes? '21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Like, this is pretty clunky, honestly. And you'd be right to criticize this. Okay, there you go. So, let's go get our armor now. Then we'll check the skill vendor, and we're off. We're ready to go on a new adventure. The question is as well, do we want to salvage our old armor, or do we want to throw it in our equipment box just in case? Oh, I needed 32, didn't I? Not 30. Yeah. Good point. You just saved the whole walk. Yeah. Well done. Oh, my God. Keep forgetting the binds that I've got set up. Well, I always thought that mass loot system in Guild Wars 2 is there so people feel incentive to buy more inventory space, which means steady income. I have never, ever been convinced that they've ever cynically done a core thing like that because of Gem Store. I really haven't. I've always felt that Gem Store came after in terms of their... I don't think they ever had a meeting where people sat down and said, oh, yeah, let's spam them with loot so that they have to buy lots of bags. I know it's kind of one of these armchair easy things that little boys can say on the internet, but I just don't believe it. I've never really got... And it's a terrible thing I'm saying right now because I can't really back up my impression with something solid. So maybe I shouldn't say it. But I don't know. I don't see it. Right. Oh, Xingji. We already had that. Hold on. That's not the skin we were looking at before, is it? What about Kaineng armor? Someone here must sell Kaineng. Here we go. There's 3 guys. So Xingji, Canthan, which we were already in, and Saitang. Crap. Oh, so I don't think we'll have a different skin change here. Wait, what are we in? Yeah, Canthan. So this won't look any different. But this is what we bought the gear for. Yeah, well, it's fine. We got loads of opportunity to get new stuff. Let's just upgrade that. I'll delete the old stuff as well then. We'll upgrade the way we look soon. The only thing I'll keep is the spawning. No, I'll go spawning. No, I won't go spawning power again. I'll keep the spawning power head wrap. And we'll put it in there. Everything else will go. We'll salvage the rest of it down. Sun equipped. Let's get Nakey. And this time, instead of spawning power, I will pick up channeling, I guess. Let's grab a channeling one. Okay. Craft. So an armor rating of 60, and we're now max. That's 2 gear ups, and we're done. Which is not a particularly positive thing, but we've already talked a lot about that so far. So let's equip. That's armor 45. That's armor 60. 45. Wait. So where's our head wrap then? This one? That's armor 45. Oh, here it is. Okay, it's not white anymore. Yeah, that was another nice touch from Guild Wars 1. When you died stuff, the inventory icon art would change to reflect the thing. which is kind of cool, actually. Right, and now we salvage down, not the head wrap, but yes, the raiment. Yes, the shoes. Yes, the leggings. Yes, the bangles. Meanwhile, we put the head wrap. Oh, this is the head wrap we want, no? I'm so confused. Oh, I guess it does appear. All right, that's fine then. There you go. And this can go into this box here. No, we do have two. Okay. So we now have a channeling one, a spawning power one, and a communing one. Good. It's just these are slightly too... these two are slightly lower armor. Right. There you go, guys. Hopefully that wasn't too teeth-pulling. I want to get rid of these mirrors at some point. Let's not worry too much about it just yet. It's time. Oh, my God. So, if 8 people have been waiting at the friggin' foreign quarter this entire time, you're gods. This is it. We're getting ready for it. It's synchronization time. I will recap the story as well here. Let's see. So, once home to the famous assassin Vizu, inhabitants of this neighborhood successfully petitioned the Celestial Ministry in the year 1396 to rename it in honor of the woman who had helped bring down Shiro the Betrayer, a man who we saw in a flashback, a 200-year-old flashback, right at the start of this mission, that I'm going to replay to you all now. And I will PM you guys when we start. So remind me. Master Togo sent word to Menlo of Tyria. He is Togo's prize student from years ago. In fact, Togo has not held another student in such high regard until you came along. What about Yijo? I guess he's dead, so it doesn't matter. Hopefully, he can help us in our time of need. Remind me, what happened in Kantha? You, along with Togo and Headmaster Vang, tracked down and eliminated the source of the plague. You took it upon yourself to inform Yijo's mother of the plague that consumed her son, but it seemed as though she already knew. Ah. Togo sent you to the city to investigate the sickness, as he is not convinced that, that your victory at Zendaijan purged the land of its ill effects. Well, we know that, because this is kind of really wonkily done. In the meantime, Togo is visiting Raisu Palace to consult with the Emperor. What's going on at this place? You are here to join up with Menlo, one of Togo's former students. With any luck, Menlo has made his haste in his travels and brought company. The plague is causing more damage than anyone expected. Do you have any information you can share about our task? Well, that plague creatures explode upon death and anyone nearby will suffer damage. That protection and self-healing skills are crucial tools in the battle against the afflicted. And to keep Master Togo and Menlo alive, without them, all is lost. I just realized we didn't buy skills and we didn't change our build. It's fine. We're going to go in anyway, guys. We'll change the build afterwards. And we could replay the cinematic, but we all know it already. I'm looking for max readies up in the team. When there's green ticks everywhere here, I'm going to whisper the guys and I'm going to click enter mission. And there will be a 1-minute synchronized countdown. Someone just whispered me saying, hello, do you have any weapons with Rec 8 or 7? The answer is 1. I think I have an Eternal Shield that's Rec 7. An AL... No, not Rec 7. It's Rec 8. It's an armor level 8 rare Eternal Shield. Oh, no. I think it is Rec 7, but it's not the actual armor it gives you is like 2 points below max. So it's not like one of those incredible god drops. It's slightly worse than you think. All right, there you go. Spitsky. He's just readied up. He's the last one. So, Kaylee. Okay, I whispered them. I said 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, God, it says 7, 6, 5, 4. I hope they got it. Oh, God. And the person who wanted me to whisper them is not the same as the previous. So, I hope that they're all ready. Okay, other team. Yeah, they're here, they're here, they're here. This is awesome. All right, guys. So, remember the story that you can see there in chat. Remember, the story... I'm going to turn that off like that. That should be good. Remember, the story is that we are meeting up with Master Togo and co, but we haven't met them yet. So, somewhere else in the city right now are the foreigners, and they're not good. We know that they're there. They say, "Oh, I was so nervous." We know they're there, but we haven't met them yet. So in the middle of the scene, we will see. You see, Brother Menlo is grayed out right now, and we can't click him. He's far away. we're here with Togo, and we get this 1 minute to sort of wait in. I thought this minute was during the matchmaker, but I guess it's actually in instance, which makes it really hard to sync. But yeah, we came from over there. We're going deep into the city. Hello, Togo. Stay with me as we move through the city. On my original series, if you watch me do this, I played with my older brother here. He was in control of the foreign team while I was the local one, and we double recorded. It was awesome. One of the only signs of his fingers on the series. Oh, God. Yeah, we only have one healer. This could be bad, by the way. This is a tough instance. It's 16 players. And as a result, it's a lot of mobs coming. It's enough to fuel a lot of minion monsters. So I hope we have a lot of corpse exploitation. On my side, we only have 2 people who are necros. Oh, no, we have 3. There's me as well, but I know that I don't have any skills, so I'm not counting myself. Follow me, students. Visinua Square is not far from here. Stay with me as we move through the city. All right, we've also got some pets. I'm guessing a lot of people in the foreign quarter will be level 20, so they might be able to carry us. Look, they're pinging their builds. Oh, this guy's using Spiteful Spirit, also very strong in this instance. He's using Extinguish as well. Oh, this is going to be great. He's got Rebirth. Rebirth is like the ultimate get out of jail card because it teleports the body on res, so you don't lure the packet. Cool mechanic. Guild Wars 2 doesn't really see much of. All right, so it's our job as the local quarter to hold out and defend until Menlo's party arrived. So right now, it's 8-man. And there's another group of players who will be coming on through. I can doom that straight away. Good. And we got to survive until they get here. I shouldn't splinter a weapon myself. I can spam a lot of dooms, though. Oh, look at that. That frenzy doom. That was 10 out of 10. Beautiful. So yeah, it is worse than I feared. Destroy these foul creatures. Look at how many Minister Chos there are, guys. All right, let's trigger bacon and potato here. Keep our spirits going. Oh no, a level 5 Black Wolf died. Boon of Creation about to drop. I'll resummon that before I put up Shadow Song. And what I can try and do is hold our spirits in chokes. So, I don't remember what the range is where spirits can overlap. Maybe it's spirit range, like nature ritual, not binding ritual. So, if I summon a ton of spirits here and just hold them here, another ritualist might be able to put them on another hole. And we might be able to get 2 pains. Do you get what I mean? And 2 of everything. We'll see. So, I'm going to just hide out here and see what I got. Who knows? We might not be overlapping at all today on today's streams. Here, I'll just keep mine up. And look over there on a mini-map. Can you see over there? Ooh, what is that? Way off in the distance. Well, it's their job to fight towards us. So it could take them a while. Let's target this ranger here. We got a boss, obviously. This is the Afflicted Akko. Hit him with Doom. Refresh Pain. I know that a lot of my spirits are kind of out of range, but I want the new mobs as they spawn to get the impact of this. There we go. Morale boost, full recharge. That means we can double cast our Boon of Creation. Now, enchantments won't stack duration, so that's not like a default behavior of them. Do I recast? Here you go. Look, they're coming already. These guys were really fast. Hey, Brother Menlo. Stay close to Master Togo and I. We cannot protect you if you wander off. Hello, Brother Menlo. Haven't seen you since Prophecies. No time to talk. We must follow Master Togo. You're here. Woo! All right, there you go. 16 players, and this is suddenly a lot going on. No, Prophecies didn't have anything at this scale, really, for player count.
Ah, Menlo, it is good of you to come. Not a moment too soon.
Master Togo, I'm at your disposal.
I will make the introductions later. For now, we have a fight on our hands. Come.
That seemed to have cut off early there, but okay. All right, so you see my spirits up there? Look at those tactics. Oh, one of them's using wards. Oh, the Evan Vanguard battle standard. So this is cool, right? Most things will only affect our party. Some will affect all allies. A ward here, I think this is an ally-based ward. Plant a stand, 15 damage. Anyway, it basically buffs everyone that's in it. And extra against Char. We won't find any Char here. Yeah, all of our allies that aren't spirits. How cool is that? That's badass. Oh, look, a Plague-born Scepter was dropped. I love how it printed that in chat down there as well. That's awesome. Yeah, wards for 16-man parties. I mean, when you look at my stuff like Union now, it's just going to be almost useless. But other things scale better at these high levels. I love seeing that people are branching out into other various types of abilities. When the Let's Play gets to Guild Wars 2 Endgame and Dungeons, we might try and encourage stuff like that. That could be really cool. Because you don't have to play for efficacy in that game anymore. Here I'm out on my own. I'm going to get blown up unless I'm really careful. No, I got blown up. Oh my god, the hills. Thank you. At least I took the hits instead of our NPC allies. So basically, what you're seeing here... Let's get a splinter weapon up. What you're seeing here is Master Togo and Brother Menlo as mission-exclusive NPCs. If they die... Essential is the word I was looking for. If they die, we all get kicked. So we have to be very careful that they don't get blown up. Which is why it's kind of nice that I sort of took the aggro there. Instead of them in a dodgy position. Of course, I got hit harder than they would have because I'm not level 80, but... level 80. That was a weird moment. What? Level 20. Spoilers. Seed of Life, man. 10 out of 10. So this is the Sunspin skill. PvE. Super potent monk capability. Yeah, that's a lot of loot on the floor. And like you'll see here, we're not going to collect it. It's very much how PoE does stuff. I love the way that that works as well. This district has been overrun with the plague, while others have been spared. Let us find out why. And Menlo contributes, saying, I'm certain that this is no natural affliction. It corrupts not only the body, but also the soul. And that might sound like a cheesy, silly line, but the fact it corrupts the soul is actually relevant for the story. I agree that the cause of this plague is something supernatural, and I believe we will find it in this district. Oh, one other little recap on the story is... have they already YOLO'd off? No, they're still here. One other recap of the story is we saw the mark on the ground in between wooden floorboards. And Master Togo seemed to know what it was, but he wouldn't talk to us about it. Everybody just sort of ripping through here. Honestly, if I engage too late, I'm not going to get any value out of my stuff. Union up. Oh my god, I keep thinking Doom is on skill 6, and I keep accidentally miscasting it. I'll just keep giving this guy splinter weapon. I like giving him splinter weapon. Man, I want to play ergos and stuff now. I just like being a buff bot. I hope you guys vote on that eventually. Oh, our XP scroll. Yes, good point. Here we go. Scroll of Heroes Insight. For 10 minutes, we get double XP from all of the things we're fighting. Look at that. It's one of the most simple scrolls. Some other scrolls give you triple XP and other things, but they're more circumstantial. This one's just straight up, hey, level faster. And because we're fighting 16-man worth of stuff, it's a good leveler. I think mechanically, the idea of this might be to get everyone to 20 at this point if you weren't yet, which we aren't, because we've done the bare minimum. Right, what do we got? I'm trying to read the dialogue as well. Sorry if the gameplay suffers. Ampha! No doubt these scoundrels are trying to capitalize on the chaos the plague is causing. I doubt they are responsible for the plague, but I'm not surprised to find them in its midst. The city guards are too busy to keep them at bay, and as we heard from that side quest, they seem to have some resistance to it. Oh, Sylvari interacting with the wardens. Absolutely, Costage. That's like got to be a highlight of this whole expansion. Everyone has something. The Norn could have some interesting interactions with the mountainous areas. The Sylvari have the Warden, the Echo Valley Forest, and Ergos as a spirit in comparison to the Pale Tree. The Asura have the hints that they had stuff below, the depths, and the Dredge stuff could key into that as well. The humans is pretty blatantly obvious. The Chara are the one thing that feel like a fish out of water, but that can be their thing, you know, as being a fish out of water. The Chara in a society such as these xenophobes have become, potentially, there's a lot that could riff off of that, you know? And that's just another reason why, you know, if we're thinking of a Char expansion on the horizon, if we're thinking about a Canthan expansion on the horizon, the two kind of play off of each other quite nicely. Because if there's not a very good Char focus in the Canthan one, that accents them for the following Cogs of War. Or if Cogs of War is next, then it's okay if the Char don't have an accent, because they would have, in Cantha, because they would have just had one from Cogs of War, you know? So, yeah, I'm a big believer in it. I think it could work really well. I think think there's a lot that could work. And the devs will have thought just as hard about this as we in the community have, if not more. Here's a question to you all, everyone. It's not to do with Guild Wars 1 or Guild Wars 2 in general. It's to do with gaming and game communities and stuff like that. Just a simple question. Who do you think, and I'm talking on an individual basis, obviously as a collective, one of these will be true, and it's easy to answer, but I mean as individuals, generally speaking, who do you think thinks more about video games as products, their facets, their whatever, right? The developers of said games, who treat them as 9-to-5 jobs. You know, I'm not talking about developers in ridiculously prominent positions that oversee franchises for 10 years plus, the Todd Howards of the world. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about game developers. Who do you thinks about more? The people making the games or the fans of the products? Who do you think comes from a more informed position in general? Because I think your answer to that question kind of defines a lot of the way you treat discourse about games online and getting the devs to listen to you and stuff. It's a curious thought, though, to me. Fans or devs? You know? And obviously there's not going to be one real answer. For every dev that's just clocking in 9 to 5. And when I say dev, I mean designer, alright? I don't mean, like, the guy churning out Gemstore skins. Or a programmer working on tools for the developers to use. I don't mean those. I mean designers. I mean people in those kind of prominent positions, right? Is that rude of me to suggest that those are the prominent positions and the others aren't worth so much? You get what I mean, right? Because I think there's a feeling you can get, and I've certainly had it and wrestled with it over the years, that, oh, I'm a fan, I've thought more about the game than the devs have. I've thought more about balance than the devs have, you know? Like, we've all thought that. We've all second-guessed the balance team. All of us. We have to have. No matter what format, whether you raid a lot, fractal a lot, whether you world versus world a lot, PvP a lot, we have to have come to that position, especially in Guild Wars 2, where you realize that their focus has to be fragmented. Like, I legitimately cannot imagine a balanced dev at Guild Wars ArenaNet who goes home and is enthusiastic about Monster Hunter World, or is enthusiastic about FF14, or plays these other games. I cannot fathom one of those people with the brain power to have that as a hobby and also truly understand Guild Wars 2 PvP balance at the same time, for example. Like, it only takes me a couple of weeks of getting bored with PvP and leaving it to feel completely out of the loop, and like no decision I'd ever make would be worth something. So I just can't imagine how they could be as qualified as truly dedicated PvPers are. Because that's like everything to them, you know. A dev might come in at 9 till 5 and then leave and go play another game and not think about it much. You know, some of us are proper losers and we'll play PvP for 10 hours. All day we're doing it. We're not stopping for lunch. We're not stopping for a meeting about the logistics and implementation of something. It's all balance that we're looking at. It's all the entire time, you know. And we do that. And so it's kind of funny, you know. And it stretches to beyond balance. But on the other hand... Oh, here we go. We got a gold. Anyway, just thought I'd throw that out there. Kind of fun. If anybody wants this, I'll ID it. And because I'm such an upstanding, amazing, nice guy, totally not because I was given so much money. If an assassin in the party wants this, there's 16 of you out there. Check it out. I can drop it on the floor and you guys can pick that crap up. There you go. It's for you. If anyone wants it. Yeah, sorry. I'm missing some of the story stuff here. So, Togo is informing Menlo. We suffered an outbreak of this same disease back on Shinji Island. The corruption emanated from a temple that bore the mark of Shiro Tagachi. But it has been 200 years since Shiro killed the emperor he was sworn to protect. Why would his curse take so long to manifest? And Brother Menlo speculates, it might not be a curse. There are tales of evil spirits causing physical corruption. If Shiro's spirit is returned somehow, it could cause a plague. We should search for signs of him. And, you know, there's another side to that conversation as well. Quantity of thinking power does not necessarily mean you've come to a better or more informed opinion, you know? which is the other side of things, you know. I'm not necessarily talking about who's qualified to make decisions about the game more. I'm talking more about just who thinks about it more, you know. Like, in some ways, and I'll fill myself with enough arrogance and hubris, in some ways, I feel like I've thought more about this personal story than even some of the guys that created it must have, you know? And Corteria and how that's structured and just all the ways it's broken. Because individuals worked on little aspects. I've been looking at that product as a whole, like, for far too much time, for much more than is healthy, you know? You know, so there's little things like that you just think about. A dev can also be a fan, but most general fans don't know what's good or even how projects work from a business and general ignorance about development. You know, I've said it on many streams before, and I don't want to seem too weird about it, but, you know, we don't hear too much from him. But the current game director for Path of Fire, Mike Z, sorry. If you add that guy in Guild Wars 2, if you add him on your friends list, the guy is always online. The guy is always, and he's not AFK, and he's playing the game. He's farming his stan, he's doing the POF achievements, he's getting his collections, he's playing Guild Wars 2. And I love seeing that, you know. You draw a lot of strength from seeing that. You need to see that. You need to believe that the people up there know what's going on. And it's a really, really, really invigorating thing. But what does that tangibly mean? I mean, it's all pretty exciting, isn't it? Do you think that? You're on holiday right now at the Lucas Oil International Races this weekend. So I may not be able to make it to streams as much, and I actually have to go soon. But it's been great. I'll make sure to catch up this weekend. Dude, have a wonderful time, man. That sounds awesome. And yeah, we'll be here plodding along, as always. We're doing this super comfortably, considering we started with like level 14s coming in on what is a level 20 mission. And I'm not even really playing that effectively. Check out that Ray of Judgment down there. Of course, spamming Doom is punishing on the energy when we've used Boon of Creation for our energy management. Yeah, you always saw someone called Violet in game and had no idea it was Mike Z. Yeah, listen, if someone's got a cool name like that, like a, you know, a normal, there's no X's and, oh my god, Ultimate Slayer, man, stuff in there, it's probably a dev that snagged the name nice and early. Speaking of vacation, am I going on vacation? Vacation? Mate. I don't know how to answer that in a way that doesn't sound like I'm... My life is a vacation, let me put it that way. I have such an amazing job that is so cool. I don't even think of vacations. It doesn't matter. It's all good, man. I play video games on twitch.tv. That makes me, number one, a cool dude. Not a loser. Not a loser. Not a loser. A very proud, cool dude. And it means I get lots of vacations. Because my whole life is a vacation. There you go. Alright, a little bit more story. There was a great evil here. I can feel it. I think you are right, Menlo. The very... Oh, wait. We missed some crucial dialogue there, didn't we? No, we didn't. We didn't miss some crucial dialogue. Sorry, I'm messing this up a little bit here. I think you are right, Menlo. The very spirit of Shiro Tagachi has returned. But why here? Brother Menlo, I remember this bookstore. I loved doing this in the video I made of this, like reinterpreting the bookstore. I remember this bookstore, Master. It held magic and religious texts from across the world. I thought our temple was defaced because it was a holy place. But it too was a center of learning. Shiro must be looking for something. We must find it before he finds it. Now remember, they've all been places of learning, basically. Every single one. In the name of the Emperor, open this gate. You will find nothing but trouble this way. With all the chaos, the Ampha are running things down there. The Ampha. Petty street criminals do not concern us. They do not indeed. Let's keep moving on in. So yeah, there's a beautiful side of this story. You think that Shiro's being malevolent and vicious right now, but he's not. There's a bit of a Voldemort story going on here. I wonder whether J.K. Rowling inspired somewhat the core of his motivation. But Voldemort, I mean, before he goes mental, it's kind of a story of a man who just doesn't want to die. And that's basically what we're going to find about Shiro to an extent. And I like that. What game is this? Yeah, this is Guild Wars 1, the Factions campaign. The second big thing they released. And what do we have here? Big moment. Uh-oh.
I am no mere spirit mortal. Like a god, I have breathed life into this body. Come, feel the bite of my blades if you doubt me. Shiro Tagachi, I adjure you. Show yourself, foul spirit. I will bind you and return you to the underworld. We do not fear your blades or your black magic. Prepare yourself. You are not long for this realm. Defeat Shiro's construct. So, deep in this really nasty area, where it's all ambient and scary and creepy, we saw mad people, mad beasts that turned into afflicted, who were the big bads, and now there's just afflicted everywhere. So what's a tier up from the afflicted? The Shiroken. Look at that. It's a creepy goddamn thing over there. The Shiroken Necromancer. A big scary boss. This is like Minister Cho. We've just tiered up, guys. And, yeah, I remember doing the recap of this story. I was so scared of recreating dialogue because of cheesy, crappy voice acting. But, yeah, okay. We killed it. Woo! But where is Shiro? Master's reward. That was awesome, guys. And I barely had to try. So, big victory. It's Shiro. And he is translucent. What does this mean? He's killed us all. Except the fire imp. Another thing that looks like Shiro. Look at all the bodies. This is cool. With 16 players, it looks awesome.
We cannot stand by while Shiro continues to meddle in the affairs of the mortal.
His duty is to shepherd the newly dead to the gates of the mists. He's shirking his responsibility as an envoy.
Whatever disembodied spirit that he lets loose here in the mortal realm, the delicate equilibrium between worlds tips further out of balance. Whatever his plan is, it must be stopped. But how? We are only envoys ourselves. We cannot fight Shiro.
We can combat Shiro by acting like Shiro.
We are the envoys to the next world, the shepherds who guide the newly departed to eternal paradise within the mists. We were sent here to show you the path to the afterlife. But it's not your time. We will not guide you today. We return to you, your departed spirits. We give back to you the gift of life.
But it comes with a price.
In return, we ask your help in defeating Shiro. Seek out soon the Oracle of the Mists. He will show you how to become Wei-no-Su, closer to the stars.
Ah, Wei-no-Su, the celestial test. Menlo and I know it well.
I do not understand. Why do you wish us to pass this test?
Spirits in this realm can hide themselves from the view of mortals. Until you have become closer to the stars, you will not be able to see Shiro, let alone fight him.
I see.
We are counting on you to help us return the balance that Shiro has undone. We will be watching.
I love the music in this campaign so much. So much of this cutscene music is so awesome. it's just the right level of just accenting the scenes. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot in that, a ton of lore to go through on that. Basically, they dump a lot at us. I'm glad that you thought it was more epic in the series, because yeah, the game always did it very badly. Basically, here's the point, guys. When people died in Cantha, they have this institution, this thing, these envoys. The envoys shepherd the souls to the river and then off into the afterlives, where they're judged by Grenth and whatnot. And it seems, I mean, there's a lot of sort of inference going on here in my part, so please don't take what I'm about to say as canonical or anything. But it kind of seems that that was a great way of dealing with... oh, this guy's already leaving, and I don't want to just yet. So I'm going to come back out into Shadow's Passage and leave the party. Yeah, there's kind of an inference that they have, like, this is a way they keep the undead under control, and we know that it's kind of a part of their culture, because we'll learn how envoys are created and stuff soon, through Soon the Oracle of the Mists and blah, blah, blah. But Shiro became one. It's criminal. It's a bit kind of like Game of Thrones and the Wall. It's like you take this fantasy idea, oh, this is a punishment, but you're reliant on these people, and then you realize you get a ton of scumbags together, and it's generally not a great idea. So Shiro's a scumbag, and he becomes an envoy, and well, now he's abusing his power, trying to figure out how to well, the story did just explain, right? Shiro's trying to come back to life from being an envoy, and as he travels, as he shirks his duties, it's causing all these problems with, and the affliction is a result of that manifest. And that's why the affliction feels very undeady, and it's kind of, you know, they're zombies but not quite zombies, and it's to do with souls. And Shiro has the ability to manipulate and corrupt and do things with souls as an envoy, which we'll learn more about with the Shirokan creatures. But he's not necessarily malevolent right now. He's just trying to come back to life, and he's just causing ridiculous chaos in the way, so he's an indifferent asshole. But that's the most we can say about him right now. And presumably he would be a threat to come back. So I mean, he's, in a way, he's kind of a tragic villain, because even his crimes of the past and the petrification, as we'll learn, sort of wasn't his fault almost. But by the end of our experiences with him in Nightfall, we'll know he's pretty messed up. Yeah, so that's one side of it. The other side of the cutscene that I wanted to talk about is Wayno Sue and all of that. So the idea the envoys, they don't have to be seen if they don't want to be seen. They're kind of between realities. There's a lot of comparisons here, and especially when you look at the mechanics of it, between this and seeing the Massart in the Prophecies campaign, and becoming closer to the stars and being able to see them because they choose not to be seen unless so. And so Guild Wars 1 sort of jabbed vaguely at the idea that there may be similar mechanisms on the underneath, but they've never tangibly looked and unified the two things. That would be something I hope a Guild Wars 2 expansion would do as well. That would be really, really, really nice. But for now, it's just like, oh, this is a weird, strange coincidence. And it's the same time you become Wayno Sue, you can also go to the God Realms and stuff, which is similar to becoming closer to the stars, which lets you go to the God Realm and see things that wouldn't otherwise be seen. So with Nightfall, they kind of did away with it, and it just happened sneakily in the background when you claimed the Sunspear Sanctuary in corner, and there's no real prominent moment. Though you could say Melanju gave you her favor because it was her temple or whatever, but, you know, that's all still just inference. So there's a lot there, really, to unpack. The other thing as well, this is so cool. Look at this. Look at this. Do you guys want to do the challenge mission here? We'll talk about that in a second. The final thing is, yeah, envoys. They look very cool, don't they? Guild Wars 2 did the envoy armor as legendary armor, and you got to remember, when the Spirit Veil, the Forsaken Thicket came out, it was with the Spirit Veil, and we were seeing lots of stuff. There was a river of souls there. There was soul manipulation, the creation of Gorseval. It was seeming, right with Wing 1, that it was building to something tangible and awesome to do with the envoys. And remember, we didn't know what legendary armor would look like back then either. Then you had the Spirit Quest that you went on. And, I mean, I'm trying to not be too rude, but what the dick was that about in the end? Nothing, really. The legendary armor doesn't seem to have anything to do with the envoys. There's a chance they can continue to expand upon it. The new legendary is this legendary ring thing, and we're in the underworld, so there's still spirit rivers and souls and undead. Hopefully the devs find a way to do it all in the end, but I just feel like, as far as raiding stuff is concerned, a lot of stuff has been mismanaged in terms of the unifying underlying theme that they might have been going for with the soul spirit stuff and envoy stuff and how that relates to Cantha. I just don't know, really. We'll see if they can patch things up with a ring, but do we get to look like the envoys? Is there anything really more than just a vague, hey, remember this, in Guild Wars 2's raids? I don't know. Maybe someone's got a case for something stronger and more potent otherwise. But yeah, so there you go. Our job, basically, to sum it all up, we died, but we were brought back to life to take out Shiro. And we're kind of owed that debt now. And that's our very solid, good motivation the whole way through now. So let's try and please the other envoys and take out Shiro. The Cantharan factions doesn't really get much more complicated than that for the core story. It just has this beautiful world and setting it's dumped everything in, which is kind of a good mix. Guild Wars 2 hits that to a similar degree as well. It's very simple, kill Elder Dragons, but it's in this rich setting. Right, so, but then there's a question of the challenge mission. We're at the dragon's throat. The rumbling of falling waste water. Let's reread that. The rumbling of falling waste water does little to mask the unsavory business that thrives deep below the dragon's throat. A massive sewer pipe at the far end of a subterranean hollow funnels sewage away from the prim and proper, adding insult to an already injured populace underground. This is a cool place. I love the idea that people are freaking living here. Like, if you probably look at any of these assets, you realize it doesn't work. It's very Jet Set Radio Future to me. It's very, like, you know, cobbled together. Just the idea that people are being forced to live near all this. That's how impoverished and nasty and crowded and polluted this city is. So there is a quest here. Let me invite one of the Cosses. I'll invite Bacon so that I'm party leader. There is a challenge mission. So this was Arena Internet's first jab at challenge missions. Something to this day, I think they still sort of struggle with figuring out exactly how this format works. Basically, it's a quest, a side objective, but it's a mission that we load into just like campaigns. And on top of that, you have a time limit and you're competing with other players. Except this one's not actually a time limit. It's got a different gate. Let's add that Paragon. That's cool. Let's add the level 17 here, and let's add that. We're going to do one attempt at this before moving on. That's the primary quest, which we'll deal with later. Where's the NPC dialogue for this? So, Captain Lofar, check this out, guys. This area has been declared a health hazard. A horde of afflicted creatures have taken up residence in the area, and the Emperor calls upon all brave Canthans to battle the foul beasts. Do you seek further instruction? Okay, what do you want me to do? It is very simple. You must destroy as many afflicted as you can. Keep in mind that this plague is extremely contagious. It is only a matter of time before it overcomes you. However, the more monsters you slay before that happens, the greater your glory in service to the Emperor. Okay, do you have any hints? Slay the bosses to receive morale boosts, obtain morale boosts to increase your time, and return to rooms we've already cleared to find additional foes, so things will respawn. The idea of this is to just score as many points and get as many kills as possible. I don't know the routes or the min-max or any of that stuff, but I love watching videos of it, so if anybody makes one recently, that would be cool. But here, there is a record keeper, and check it out. This is the closest analog to this in Guild Wars 2 are adventures, ever since Hearthstones came in. So in the last, look at this! In the last 24 hours, El Enfer der Agnes Decus, don't know what that means, did the best. Now that guild had a single player, Necromant Ladouche. Malay Monk's been trying it, and he's got the silver rewards and the bronze rewards. Athena Castile's been trying it. Omega Zero Wolf. Look at all these different people. Then there's the monthly bests at 600 points and quarterly bests at 667. So the best of the quarter did happen this month from It's All Around Us. So we could beat these players and we'll get rewards. What is that? You do not expect me or my men to fight these plague creatures, do you? I've been assigned by the Celestial Ministry to determine the nature and difficulty of this threat. Should I or my soldiers interfere, it would render my calculations invalid. Bureaucrats. You, of course, can fight them all you like. Indeed, I encourage you to do so. If you do well, I will make a note of your actions. Alright, let's do it. It's a bit of a stretch, but I guess you can say the player character was acting as an envoy in helping Saul find peace. An envoy as a shepherd of the dead? I mean, there is kind of like such a vague like thing you can cobble together out of it. Like the Massat, the constructs of the Massat that were left behind at the Bastion, at this prison, they were denying Saul his death. They were doing a very unnatural thing to him there in presenting his natural end and keeping him in the way that they did. And, you know, that does kind of seem like the domain of the envoys. Okay, we can pick up some birthday cupcakes. I'll eat one of these. Thank you. So we get extra health, extra energy. These are super OP, by the way. And our Oh, no, we don't get an attribute buff by this, but it's still pretty OP. Some new attribute points. Let's spend some challenging. Still don't have a different build, but whatever. Oh, he's given us candy apples as well. Use both. This is going to be really good. Look, we just got a lot of extra stuff. Cool. Yeah, I mean, so there are like these hints. There's this stuff. But I don't know, man. It's not enough for me. Oh my god, they're popping full-on concepts here. Wow, we get an essence of celerity. This is also extremely potent. Makes us move quicker, reduces our cast time, reduces our cooldowns. Expensive stuff, but worthwhile. I mean, I'm going to be pretty goddamn standing here. We're now going to find out we have a terrible comp. And all that money's been wasted. But that's very good of you guys. Yeah, I spent the attribute points. As we see in CFP2, there are other not 6 gods related ways to resurrecting oneself, such as the Eternal Flame artifact, which was destroyed. Yeah, I mean, I don't believe that they have to tie everything together, and I think that would be an exercise in futility, and it's not smart. You narrow the window of your world by doing that, so I kind of don't want the devs to do that, but they seem to be going for something explicit, and then we're incapable of doing it, I guess is what I'm trying to point out. Right, so our limit here, okay, is we've got to kill Afflicted, and we're getting points. You can see we've got a score of 11, 12 there. There are bosses, which give us lots of score. But also, you see this? Oh, that's Berserker's Insight. Well, I guess it will happen later, but we're going to start getting degeneration that gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And the idea is eventually that degeneration kills you all and kicks you out. With enough cons and the right comp, I've always been curious if you can just survive forever and get infinite points in this mission. Which I'm not sure about, so we'll see. There has to be some kind of kick-out mechanism in the end. Oh my god, degen starts at 30 minutes in. Well, I was not intending on streaming for, you know, the greater part of an hour in here. Really, it's half an hour into the mission. Maybe we'll just show it off and then leave. I'll leave the party and let these guys keep going. You know, if we're majority Spud people in this party, it looks like we're not. There's only a couple of us online. It would have given Spud the record if they do well. I encourage you guys, when I have to leave, to keep trying to 7-man this. I keep splinter weaponing myself, and it's infuriating me, and I'm really sorry to people who are getting annoyed. You know, I could just equip a bow or something to fix that. It wouldn't be ideal, but it would be more efficient than the way I'm currently playing. Imagine if the envoys show up in the underworld with Grenth gone to find Desmina has it under control. Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be very cool. You think Wing 2 in the underworld would deal with that? Desmina sounds like a kind of a cool envoy-ish name almost as well. I'd love that. I'd love to hear, like, Desmina be like, shit, it's the envoys. And we're like, what? And she's like, oh, you don't even know. There's this whole thing. And then, like, through Wing 2 and Wing 3, we realize that there's, like... Because, I mean, Grenth has to know about the envoys, right? Like, the envoys... Why are the envoys as an institution only Canthan, really? Why is that only the Canthans that have an Oracle of the Mists? Why... How does that work, you know? It's very exciting. And, you know, to have Desmina answer that, to tie it into Ore somehow, to show how the Canthan culture splintered off. Are envoys even still active around now? How do the envoys function in relation to the Reapers of Grenth? Are they almost like another form of Reaper kind of thing? Now that Grenth is gone, are they gone? Do the envoys predate that? Do the envoys relate to the ritualistic sense of magic understanding that we heard about before that predates the human gods? You know, where do these lines cross? What I need is someone at ArenaNet to ask these questions and to think about it and create answers. Because I'm sure there's not answers. I'm sure that when they made factions, there weren't answers. But I hope someone out there is enthusiastic enough to be like, hey, these are cool questions. Not be intimidated by them. Not be like, oh shit, this is a retcon, lore discrepancy hellhole that I don't want to go down. No fear. Take control of your IP and go for it. Put those big balls on the table and let me feast on them when you release the expansion pack. Do you know what? I'd love it. But it feels like raids have got their own problems in terms of mechanics and release stuff. So, I don't know. The lore heads like me adding our requests on top, it might not just be... It might be a bit too much to ask of everyone. Some ways you have to temper your expectations. I'm not sure where I'm going, and so it's kind of terrible that I'm leading the group. There are no mobs around just yet. We'll go this way and see. Yeah, exactly. As Valen says in chat, is it worth 1 year of development for that story, though? I mean, I kind of think it was. I will never stop singing Bastion of the Penitent's praises. Come on. I have the other real thing of I just don't really like raiding that much in Guild Wars at the moment. I just don't find it that rewarding. I hate when I take a key roll and I mess some basic thing up. Like I messed up greens at Doom 2 weeks ago and it just really wore on me. It just really annoyed me. I hate causing wipes. I messed up tanking twice in a row on Demos himself this week. I'm not enjoying raiding in the game. I'm really not at the moment. So I don't know. I'm going to swap these. I'm actually going to swap these because I keep pressing skill 6 instead of 5 and I don't know why. This is just better. For some reason, this is better for my muscle memory. Oh, thanks very much for the sub there. Jarvanius, it's good to see you. I mean, when I enjoy raiding most, it's when you're finding cool, like, different builds and variants of playing, but I don't spend enough time to be good enough at raiding anymore at the moment to then also experiment a ton. So, like, what I really want to do is, like, I want to play, like, Deadeye rifle kiting at Doom for the fun of it. Because it seems like a cool little consolidation of roles, and I'd love to contribute a bit of pressure while also kiting perfectly and stealthing Reapers. That's fun to me. That's cool. I want to see, like, a slightly different way of doing it. I want to do that stuff. But I don't play enough to do it. And everyone I raid with, no one really plays enough to, you know, want to sit through the wipes to do that anymore. So the one really exciting aspect of raiding to me at the moment, I'm just like, I'm not at that level of player to be interested anymore. It's not like when I used to do Triple Trouble Worm and theory craft the ways to do it with just 5 players and stuff, which is what really, really thrills me. I just, you know, I spend my weeks doing other things. I'd rather play Monster Hunter World once my day's done than go in and play Wing 1 or something, you know. Does stealth drop the golems aggro? Yeah, I believe it does, yeah. So, I mean, right now, the way I raid at the moment is I do it on a Tempest with Arcane Staff, just as like the ultimate handhold builds. Just massive reses at 1200 range, huge amounts of heals, just unbelievable sturdiness for any encounter, really. Sometimes I swap off, but it's a great kite at Doom. Obviously, Druid's a bit more efficient, and I think Druids can stealth them as well, so that's one of the things they do sometimes, to shake the golems. But yeah, you know. So when a new wing comes out, I don't know. I'm on a bit of a tangent right now. Has it been 10 months? I mean, this is where I wish the lines of communication were a little bit different between us and the devs right now. There's not that candle where someone on the raid team's been like, yeah, look, we get it, 10 months is ages and we're sorry. I'm not looking for apologies. I don't care about an apology. I just like to sort of know what the backstory is as to why it's taken a, you know, what the difference is. Maybe we'll get that from the streams once the wing is out. Maybe. What their struggle's been. But it's definitely not been going according to plan. Surely not. So here we're struggling a bit with this packet, and I think it's because of this writ over here, rezzing. We do have an elite monk boss, but the monk afflicted bosses tend to be aggressive more than anything else. Let's keep Boon of Creation up. Another splinter weapon there. They never... Okay, to be fair, with the 3 to 4 wings a year, I think if you go back, they were very clear that it wasn't a promise and that it was what they wanted. The problem with the internet is nobody knows what modal verbs are. Nobody knows what hedging is. Like, you can say it till you're blue in the face, but people don't understand disclaimers. They don't understand. So, I mean, you say our aim is to do 3 to 4 wings a year, and then it doesn't happen. People will start accusing them of broken promises, and it's not really a broken promise if they talk about an ambition. ArenaNet, I've always believed, there's always been this long story of communication with Guild Wars 2 and how it works. I've always believed that they're just stuck in a middle ground where they don't communicate enough to get away with failing to hit bars, but they communicate too much to like set up disappointment, if that makes sense. Like, I've talked about this before. Nintendo and a lot of first-party Nintendo products tend to have extremely strong fanatical fan bases. And I've got a theory as to why. And my theory is that it's because there's no expectation the devs of those games will ever be reasonably looking to communicate with their audiences, except at very specific moments. No one has an expectation that they'll do that. There's a language barrier for us in the West straight away. And I think that's a powerful thing, because I think what it does is it means when people go online to talk about Nintendo products and games, no one's ever really that critical, and no one cares to be that critical on the forums related to them, because the devs will never see it. It doesn't seem to be serving any function, any purpose. So it mostly tends to say quite positive. The community's never toxified. But when it comes to like the way ArenaNet handles things, we have, and I've talked about this before, you have this lingering, oh, I should complain about this on Reddit because the devs will see. And communities toxify when that happens. And I don't know. I'm kind of mincing my words a little bit here and splitting two discussions into one. Basically, I'm saying there's a lot of value in never communicating. I really believe that. There's a lot of value in never opening your mouth. In never establishing that communication might be possible. No expectations that promises will even be delivered, let alone ambitions. Just don't do it. ArenaNet talk too much to be in that category and to foster goodwill anyway. They talk too much for that. But they don't talk enough to be let off the hook when they talk idly about an ambition that doesn't land, such as we've seen with raids and raid wings coming out. They're in the middle ground where it doesn't quite land for them. That's what I think. Probably the most effective way to run your business is just to shut your mouth and not say a thing. That's just a theory, an armchair speculation. And Nintendo gets that benefit since they do deliver and deliver very well. Arena doesn't have that track record. Well, here's the thing. I would say no matter how good we're getting into a different topic here, but I'll give you a thought here. I genuinely believe no matter how good the game is, no matter how solid it is on its foundations, if it's a lifestyle product especially, where you play a ton of it and you're expected to keep playing it and you know, buying into DLCs or microtransactions, stuff like that, which admittedly there's a whole other realm as to why Nintendo avoids that, because they don't offer that so much. But I would say no matter how good something is, no matter how perfect it is, no matter how perfect you think Nintendo's games are, if you play it long enough, you will see the issues with it. You will see improvements. You will see its imperfections. You spend long enough with a product and something will start nagging you. And as a fanatic for that product, it will nag you more and more and more to the point where you want to express it. And that's opportunity for the community to toxify. No matter how good the game is, there will be little things eventually in even your favorite Nintendo-oriented game. But they don't get that flashpoint when it comes to online discussion, because it's like, what's the point? As far as the fan forums go and the official forums go and the subreddits go, what's the point? But I have as a Jimmy John Johns of the Guild Wars 2 community, if I'm unhappy with how many raid wings release, I've got a reasonable sense that if I make a Reddit thread and get enough upvotes on it, I can nag the devs into doing what I want. If I, Wood Potatoes, don't like that Season 1 isn't in the game, I can have a reasonable thought that I might be able to nag the devs into adding it. And that's there, and I toxify things by doing that. Every leader of the community does at that point. Everyone does. And it just becomes like that thing. I've talked more articulately about that experience in the past, and how the Guild Wars 2 subreddit very decidedly changed around one of the Guild Mag articles talking about how SAB wasn't in development. But yeah, I just think communication is a really, really tricky, crazy thing to get right. And the only company I've seen do well, as far as I can see so far, honestly, is Paradox, in terms of high communication amounts and how they do it with the weekly blog posts and just the tweets and whatnot. Anyway, I'm just not going to go sucking their dick again. That was pretty cool. I don't think we beat a record, I'm afraid. I'm not sure what was wiping us there. But I think it's fine because I didn't want to spend hours and hours in there anyway. Or waffling out poorly thought out discussions. And I guess, there you go, that's the Dragon's Throat. I don't know whether we'll do every challenge mission as the game goes along here, guys, but that's one. And now we can continue with our primary quest. Excuse me, I have a message from Master Togo and Brother Menlo. They said you should meet them in the Shadows Passage. Thank you, I'm on my way. Now, that's cool. Finding the Oracle is going to be the next quest. And tomorrow, literally 24 hours from now, we'll be back in Guild Wars 1. I'll try and focus more on Guild Wars 1 as the stuff tomorrow. I don't know. We had 2 long instances without much else to talk about, so obviously I end up waffling about a ton of stuff. We'll try and focus a bit more Cantha and talk more about Cantha next time. I promise. Yeah, I'll buy some skills. We'll do some more build craft. You guys will be able to vote, and we'll be able to progress on. You can make us into anything you want. A healer, a minion monster, a spirit spammer, a channeling, weapon-oriented user. It will be up to you guys. There's also probably some elite skills. What I'll do between this stream and the next one is we'll research what elite skills are available now. We'll do some signets of capture. Should be very fun, frankly. And we'll continue with more of the story in our hunt for Shiro Tagachi. So yeah, let me look at chat, because I've not properly even seen your responses. There are a few times when ArenaNet was communicating a lot and the reaction's always been positive. Not sure why they don't just communicate. I see you say that. I don't really know if I've ever noticed a time where they communicated enough to be truly over the hill, over the break point of not having every little syllable clung to. I mean, people are morons. No matter how far you go, you have to do disclaimers. Oh, this is placeholder. Oh, this is liable to change. You have to spit disclaimers into every little thing because the ADD or the general state of humanity is just unbelievable in terms of attention span. You have to do it again. You have to do a disclaimer first, say the fact, then disclaimer again the second time, and people still won't listen. And then you'll call them out on it, and they'll say, "Oh, sorry, I glossed over that part." Then why are you typing about it? Why do you have a strong opinion if you're glossing over the initial information? Anyway. I don't know whether ArenaNet ever got past that breakpoint. I don't know whether they did. I don't know whether I ever saw them at the low end breakpoint as well. Actually, I did before the game came out, and you know the period where people thought that Guild Wars 2 was vaporware. Those wonderful 2008, 9, 10 years where there was just nothing, and we were like, okay, is this game a thing anymore? A bit like how EverQuest Next went before it did actually die. Yeah, I guess those were... But, I mean, that's kind of hard to compare because that's before the release. So, obviously, you're only going to see charged excitement and anticipation at that point. I don't know. And it's also a thing where there's no hardline policies about stuff. You know, the Jessica Price thing recently is another thorn in this whole thing of communication and how these things need to work out. Because... they don't have a hardline policy where someone signs up to be a dev, a game developer, and they don't want to also be, how was it, Jessica? Because Jessica is as foolish and insane as you might think that woman is. She had some very valuable points, and you can find diamonds in all the roughs. She had some very good points about, particularly here, and not exclusive to, but about how designers are constantly being asked to be engaging socially with their audiences, and you know, is that fair of the job? Is that what people are signing up for? And the truth is, there's no hard and fast rules. You know, like you're at the frontier really in a lot of ways with these AMAs and how much you ask people to contribute and whether they do the AFCs and we'd really like you to, but you know, I don't feel bad for any dev, just like Jessica, who sort of sits there and scratches there and said, hold on, is that my job description? Why am I being asked to do this? You know. And because these things are left as sort of, oh, you're an adult, you can handle it yourself. Don't just don't defame the company. Don't be a moron. Because they're kind of left loose and ill-defined, the boundaries here, you run into all these kind of problems with expectations between communities and devs. That's why I really think, you know, this Jessica Price thing and all the other little things that have happened around it, it's not just about Twitter and social issues and being an asshole to your customers and stuff like that. It's certainly not about feminism, Christ. But these things, I think, are going to be really... just as that horse armor DLC, I think, is a beautiful thing to look at in the context of how the years to come went. That this will be something really fun to look at as game companies, and lots of companies, really, have to face how they deal with their customers. But game companies that support lifestyle games, that, you know, those games that you're expected to buy and keep on, you know, it's a main game for you. Those kinds of games, that there's a real pointed aspect of how those devs interact with those communities and how that works. And I really think, I've said this before, the most simple answer to me is just shut your mouth and never say anything. Never say anything. Never even act like you care about your community's opinion. You can, and you can read about it, and obviously getting feedback from people is correct. But never empower your audience. That's honestly, honest to God. Never empower your audience. Never give birth to the wood and potatoes of the world. And the Reddit farmers to enact change. Never. Hire some QA and rely on them. It's the way through, my friends. Anyway, WP, didn't you know forum posts are not useful feedback to devs? I mean, I've probably got some really fucked up opinions from where I sit, and I fully accept and understand that. Even if Reddit and who knows what else likes called Guild Wars 2 forums, and it did grossly, horribly hypocritical. I'm such a hypocrite in some ways. What is this? Wonderlust can be gotten at Takanai Temple. That might be a good one for me to get. Oh, really? That's super close, dude. That's cool. Wonderlust is great, too. Do you guys want an elite binding ritual? I'm game for that. All right, anyway. The stream is way too long. What else we got here? Scrolling up. Suck more of Paradox SD. Speaking of nagging, build templates are probably the most requested feature on Reddit, so why do you think ArenaNet hasn't done it? What's stopping them? Oh, I think they've been looking into it for years now. I reckon they've been trying. I think it's because as much as, you know, you can get Delta to emulate it with Arc and stuff, I think doing a really refined, high quality of life, good build template system with no chance of deleting gear and paying respect to transmutation and all that stuff, I reckon it's a hell of a project. I reckon it's a bankable expansion project as well. I reckon next X-Pack they could sell on the back of build templates. Not that it would be parceled off with it, but that it would be an adjoining feature for core accounts and everyone alike. But yeah, I think that, you know, just to spiral into the hype of the next X-Pack, I think that's what we could say. I was expecting that for POF, but I guess it's a bigger undertaking. I think it's not that they're not listening. It's not that they don't know. I mean, come on, they're very smart about how they do things. They know that build templates are on people's list. They just don't need people saying it over and over and over again. The logistics of getting it in will have been assessed and underway. And yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Like he says, I've always said that their current communication paradigm is don't talk about it until it's shippable. But a better paradigm is don't talk about it until it hits the development point of no return when there is no chance it won't ship eventually. Yeah, that's cool. I wonder if such a thing exists to a realistic enough extent within their community development sort of culture. But that's a cool idea, yeah. I think you can talk about what's coming up as... I don't know. It depends. It depends. It's too bogged down in what goes on behind closed doors. I don't know how many ideas they have that just go into the fire, you know, and get burned away, and it's just wasted money. And well, you wouldn't call it wasted money, would it? You'd call it research. But I don't, you know, to be candid about that stuff might be really crippling because everyone's a critic. Everyone, myself included, we all think we have something of value to say when we probably don't. And it's, oh, you're the worst people in the world for not doing World 3 of Super Adventure Box way back when. It was a mistake to reprioritize the talents of Josh Foreman to this, and this. And we don't know the details, you know, but people will. So I don't know. There is a break point where you say enough, and I think people are in the know enough that it can be okay. But Guild Wars is a big, complicated product as well, where so many different players have different priorities as to what is great about it. You know, and not just in terms of large game modes, but classes and everything. That when you don't even have a baseline of equal understanding from the community, let alone on the devs, I think it causes problems. I don't know. It's kind of ironic how back in Scarlet War era of Season 1, people were pleading to ArenaNet to return to Elder Dragons, and now in Season 4, people would rather want to deal with dragons and preferably more relatable villains like Joko. I'd like to say I've been... Oh my god, a Deljamor challenge staff? Hell yeah! Thank you so much. That's awesome. I would like to say... Well, we will look at that next stream, I promise. I'd like to say I've been consistent about that. I've always said that Elder Dragons are not enough. And I've always said that Scarlet was... a symptom of other problems about story delivery rather than she herself being a problem. And the impulse behind Scarlet was perfectly good. And the impulse behind Joko and whatnot as well, I'm still glad to see. The dragons cannot sustain intrigue on their own, I don't think. It's interesting because in one of the episodes of the LP I've got coming up for you guys tomorrow, or on Patreon tonight, you'll see a short story about a fight in the Brand against branded monsters. And it's such a well, it's Char in the story, but it's such like an emotional, pointed story where you get to see these characters interacting with one another. And it made me realize you can have these great interpersonal dynamic relationships and moments of strife and whatnot, even though their villain is nothing. Their villain could be a candy man wandering around. We know nothing. It's just all branded monster. Literally, it's just monster is fighting these people. But we learn a lot about these people and we get a lot of emotion out of their situation. So I think there is some credit to that idea. You don't need a human antagonist because it's about the human that comes out of allies facing strife and unlikely allies facing strife. That's fine. That can be a thing. But I think that's more of a short-term impact you can have. For the long-term believability and excitement behind your villains, you do need something better than a hurricane, you know? A hurricane is great for a chapter. A Hitler is great for a saga. Do you get what I mean? That's... Oh, God. I need to stop streaming. I need to stop streaming. Purge that last bit from the internet. That sounds so bad. I'm done. I have nothing of value to offer. I will see you guys in 24 hours. Thank you very much for the intriguing discussion. I will see you next time. Ta-ta! Bye! Woo! I'm out of here.